3, 2, 1, and we're live.
What's up, man?
Hello, Matthew.
Hey, man.
What's good, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay, man. Can't complain. Thanks for coming to the show today, bro.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Long time no see.
Very long time.
Yeah.
Years, bro.
Has it been years? How many years has it been?
I left Tax 2015.
2015, yeah.
2015 or
Wasn't it 2016?
2016, mid 2016.
Mid 2016.
Mid 2016, I left Tax.
That was the graduation year, right?
Yeah, that was a graduation year. I thought I was gonna stick it out for the rest of, and I was like, nah.
You know what? I thought a lot of people also gonna stick it out because like, I just noticed I'm like a few people who come back that year, and I was like, for real? I'm like, I was like, damn. Like you were the only one person to leave. Actually, it was quite a few.
Yeah.
And I was quite surprised. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, damn, that sucks, but alright, I understand.
Yeah.
And like everybody just started doing the whole thing, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
I think for me the biggest thing was getting the degree, because that was all the thing that I was sort of that I was aiming for. I wanted the LLB, but I was like, it wasn't as big a priority as just getting the degree and not being a statistic.
Sure. I know it was me a statistic.
I just didn't want to be a statistic. You understand? And then I got it, and then for that first 6 months of 2016, while I was doing the LLB, I was like, fuck it.
It was a little bit hard, man. Like, it was such a different adjustment, I think. For me personally, like, it was like doing BA. You had like we had a very steady amount of like modules we could be doing on the BA.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like in a semester you could be doing like at the most maybe 7 or 6.
Yeah.
And then you get to like LLB in a semester you could be doing like 8 or 9.
That's the thing, man. Like the Tax LLB, they had us, the transition from your BA to your LLB. They had us catching up in a weird way, like as though it is your fault.
Right,
They're like, oh, there's these modules that you didn't do over the past years. Now you have to do them now. Like you have 2 years to do X amount of modules.
It was crazy, bro. Like, I'm still I mean, I haven't done most of mine. Like, I'm still struggling with like law things. Last time I did, because I already like flunked it twice, dude. And I was like, fuck. This is a ridiculous module, dude. And I don't think it's that hard. I just felt like
things isn't hard. I did it last year.
Things
isn't hard, man.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's what's his name? I can't remember what his name was.
Oh, the late Gustav Miller.
Gustav.
Yeah.
Gustav has his own book now, so you're studying from Gustav's book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you're starting from Gustav's book and everything, and
like he's the author?
He's the author and everything. I don't know. Maybe the pandemic sort of made him chilled out, because I was doing it last year.
Yeah.
But doing it online, it was a lot more chilled than being in class, as well. You know. But yeah, man. Yeah. It's not as hectic as I remember it being. Or maybe I just had the motivation to actually get the LP this time around. But,
Sure.
But yeah, it's a different experience.
Oh, okay, that's pretty fair then.
Yeah.
Because I anticipated that, like, at least this year, hoping that I was going to go back to school, I anticipated that I was going to have the opportunity to be like, you know what, I've already done most of these things, I have time, I'm going to like just work through it and slowly, and like take my time with it, you know.
Just take your time.
Yeah.
Just take your time, that's it, man. If you're not in a rush and you're not trying to chase these milestones and trying to do this at this time and record time and all of these things that are constantly being said, you know, you're with your peers and this guy's doing it this fast and he's doing this and he's doing this well. All of that pressure sort of just goes away in your own world. It's just you and the content, and you can push through it, man.
But it's like you said, man. It's like you said. It was just about getting that first degree and making sure you could you could just secure that mental fortitude to actually like push on and get a degree.
Exactly.
So I mean, like, doing 2 degrees back to back is just.
It's just
crazy. I don't think it's fair.
It's madness. It's madness. And the thing that I learned sort of going into the working world after that is that you do have your specialized degrees, like your LLB.
Sasha! Okay.
She listens.
She has to.
Yeah, so you have your specialized degrees, right, that sort of shoot you into a particular line of work, right?
Sure.
But then for the most part, having a degree is just that, what did I call it? It's just a sign of competency, basically. Because a lot of the working, like in terms of getting into the working world, you're not really expected to have a particular set of skills. You just need to be competent enough to like be able to do whatever they ask of you
100%, yeah. 100%.
Good to be able to function to a particular level, be able to understand, read, comprehend to a particular level, be able to adjust and all of that to a particular level, and then you're fine. And then everything else you sort of learn while you're in it. I mean, if you could get through varsity, I feel like you could get through tax. You can get through anything.
But I don't know if there's anything special about tax though, but like they definitely had a very
special, man.
I've never been to any universities, but like you know what's interesting? Like whenever I talk to somebody from like Wits or UJ or UCT, they're always like, "Why are you guys so relaxed?" I'm like, "Bro, it's I don't know." Because apparently, like things, like I don't know, maybe it's just like the culture, like the lifestyle that they have there. Things are much more intense, apparently. So I don't know what it's like.
I don't know. From my perspective, it always feels like everywhere else. It's not everywhere else. I know UCT is hectic. Well, I've heard about UCT being hectic. I did a course through UNISA. It was chilled. It wasn't to the same level as tax.
Sure.
So I don't know. Maybe UNISA isn't the best place to sort of compare like full time in class learning to, but I don't know, man. Sort of being in tax and the whole thing, man. Like it's just the expectation that you need to do this. You know, there aren't any ways around it. They're like, nah. When you're at this level, you need to do this. That's that.
Sure.
If you can't do it, then you're not supposed to be here, or you'll do it again next year.
Oof.
You understand? So it's one of those things. It's like you need to fit through this hole.
That needle hole.
Yeah. This you need to fit through here, bruh. If you can't fit through here, then we'll try again next year.
Gymnastics, yeah.
Exactly.
You gotta get that gymnastics going.
Exactly. You know. So that's it. There isn't a way around it. There isn't Yeah. That's the part that I struggled with the first time, where it's like, okay, like can't we try this a different way, or let's look at this content differently? Nah, bro, you have to look at it this way. This is how you have to do things.
Yeah. Because you know, having spent some time with Blackjack, I always felt like I could have like maybe done better if I had like more assignments and like you know tasks that would allow you to like maybe like they give you 2 or 3 weeks and you go home with it and you work through a problem or something versus like you know like you just study through it. Like I mean, there's different approaches with people would like rather like take a test and just like work through the test, which sometimes would work for me, sometimes it would work for me. You just take a test and you work through it using like the notes from like the last 3 or 4 weeks you used, and you see how you feel from that. You know?
And the weird part is like last year, right? You couldn't do your everyday sit down test where you go into the lecture room and everything because of the pandemic. So they had to change things up where you had to study, where you had to write your tests online.
Oh, okay.
Like everything was on ClickUp.
Yeah.
Right? Your assignments were on ClickUp. You had like 24-hour assignments where you get them at 8 o'clock today. You need to submit it by 8 o'clock tomorrow type of
Sure.
hectic stuff. Right? But then in some way they found a way to test your ability to understand the content and not your ability to memorize them. And I performed a lot better in that because it's easier to understand what they're giving you. Right? It's like she can hear.
Because I thought like, let me just put her in the house for 2 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's very active. It's just her and the kid. And,
yeah.
You know, like 2 of them, they just always playing and making a lot of noise.
It's
even like in the middle of the night, dude. You be trying
to sleep.
They just play the whole time. They just play the whole time. They don't even care about nothing.
They're like, nah, man, it's our time. It's our time. So yeah, I found that I could work a lot better. I could understand, because the understanding isn't the hard part.
No,
it's the way they need you. Yeah, not the application, even just the way they need you to regurgitate. The setting that they need you to like sort of regurgitate all of this information back to them. Like they put you in a particular place and they're like, okay, listen, you need to complete this within this certain period of time.
Yeah.
You understand? And they're like, fine, here's a question. Get all of that information from wherever you get it. We don't care if you memorize it or what, but then we need it on this piece of paper now.
All right.
Right? Which isn't even, what happens in reality. You understand? So a case comes to you and you actually have time to understand it.
True.
And you actually reference.
True.
You understand? So your understanding matters more than your ability to remember everything.
Always, yeah.
Right? You remember it a lot better when you actually work with it a lot, more frequently.
That's true.
So with the distance, not even distance, yeah, it basically was distance learning. Where you get your lectures online, you look through them, you read your content, you read your textbook, you read your notes, and then you have 24 hours to complete this test, basically. So it's about whether you understand the content or not. That's it. You know, so that worked out a lot better. And if I think they actually sort of changed things and made them that way, you'd have a lot less people sort of deciding not to even do varsity or to just leave than you would have otherwise. But hey, it is the way it is.
Yeah, so I guess it's also been a blessing that there's been a pandemic, because in the universities being forced to rethink their approach to educating their students. Because now you don't have to just just like, oh, okay, you come to class, you get the lecture, you take the notes, you go back home, you study, you revise, test day, regurgitate, move on, pause, fail, whatever it is happens to you happens.
Yeah, because I don't know how your experience was with varsity, but it felt like every sort of lecture was another sort of what's this thing? Topic theme, but an extra sort of like more work. You know, like every lecture you went through every single day was like, okay, here's a little more work for you to do. Here's a little more work. Like it was relentless in the way it just came through. If you had 5 lectures a day, or on that particular day, you have 5 things to go home and study.
Okay, yeah, that's how it works. I think it's called scaffolding. So what you do is you're gonna have your basic principles, like your theme, whatever's gonna be your groundwork, and then you build on top of that. So those are your basics, and then you're gonna add a little bit more difficulty. Gets a little bit harder to understand. Gets a little bit more complex. It gets a little bit more complex, and eventually you have more or less the whole structure that you're supposed to understand and make sense of, and then that's what they're gonna test you on at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're
So
right.
it's a little more work for you to do every single day, like the whole week. By the end of the week, you've got a mountain sort of chilling there for you.
Exactly. That's
and the art of it is just to do what you got today and get done with it, so that on Friday you don't have a mountain. You just have Friday's work.
Yeah, unless you're a serial procrastinator like me.
Like me.
2 to 3 weeks away from the test, and you're like, damn it.
I'm in varsity.
Now you're just you're just hunkering down, you're just chowing through all of those notes, trying to make sense of everything, in a space of 2 weeks before the test. And sometimes you pass, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is, man.
So what inspired your move to China?
China?
Yeah.
Dude, I was broke.
Seriously?
Yeah. Because here's the thing.
Travel? Money? Cool.
I mean, what more would you do? Nobody wants to be broke. So what was happening at the time was because I don't want to continue varsity at that point. I was like, I had enough. I don't want to go back and retry again. I'm too exhausted. I felt like I was burnt out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me go work overseas. Let me see what's happening. Cause actually, it didn't even start out like that. So I was at home for the first 6 months of 2018, and I was like, well, I want to design T-shirts and things like that. And I got I tried to do sort of a podcast, an interview thing. I worked with Mark Adams. Thunder Monkey. I don't know if you know the dude, Monkey, right?
I think I saw the post on your Instagram.
Yeah, he does calisthenics and all these things.
Yeah.
I designed a vest and did all these cool graphics on it. And I tried to sell those, and they didn't sell that well. I couldn't market anything for shit. I don't know what I was doing,
Yeah.
And he just wanted to help and try, because he's also just trying to do new things at that point. So I was like, okay, cool, let's see what happens. It bombed. Couldn't I think I probably sold 2 or 3 vests or something, and so I was just sitting on the stock, spent all my last cash. I was like, damn, what the fuck am I gonna do next? So luckily, I was talking to a few friends of mine, and then they're teachers, but they're in South Africa. And they're well, there's this program overseas where you can be an English teacher, and you just need to do a TEFL course, and then once you do that, you can probably find work anywhere. And I was like, okay, cool. So I did the course. I think I did the course over a month or so. You can easily do it in 2 weeks, but I took give myself time and understand it. So I did it over a month, and then I found a lot of offers after that. They help you actually apply for work, get your passport done, get your CV. You got to do an introduction video and all these things. You get an interview. After that, it was just a shoot in. I was gone. I was already there, teaching English by August. I think at the time, I think I'd done the course around April. So it was May, June, July, and then August I was gone. So I was it was just a countdown from there. I was like, damn, because how they work is they have intake times. So I don't know. I think for Japan they have April they're gonna start taking in new teachers. China, I think around August. That's when they start taking in new teachers. Because I think China works through December. They don't really have holidays like we do in December. They just carry on with the syllabus. So you could be at work on Christmas Day and something doesn't feel right.
Something
man.
doesn't. Isn't there something happening?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, it's another day at work if it's a weekday. But like, you will have like, if you work at an international school, then they will say like, okay, it's a Christmas theme day. You can probably dress up as Santa.
Day.
Yeah, because it's not their culture.
A different theme on Christmas.
Exactly. But like, if you work at an international like school, kindergarten or whatever, they're gonna be like, yeah, because we're an international group that we would like to celebrate like all the like internationally recognized like holidays and then festivities and things like that. So yeah, I was working through it and I was like, oh, okay, the money was pretty decent, you know, it wasn't bad, and I could save, and then I could like eventually when I felt like I was ready, I could go back to school, and then like the pandemic happened while I was still overseas. I was like, damn. I think I was on a holiday like in Hong Kong at that point. I was just like chilling in Hong Kong, like doing hikes and everything. And then the numbers just kept rising. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty serious.
This is getting serious. This isn't just a fluke.
Exactly, it was pretty serious. So I'm like, geez, okay, what's next then? Let me contact my parents. I got in touch with home, and I was like, you know what, I think I want to come back home because I was uncomfortable like being out around the world where like something this serious is happening.
Yeah,
so I was like, I want to be home. So if anything happened, I was here. All right, so I came back home, and then like, yeah, I've been here since. And then I was like, just like. I think last year I didn't do much because it was like lockdown.
Yeah.
There wasn't much for me to do, but like I started story writing, photographing things, just trying to keep myself busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then like this year started the podcast. But I wanted to start like since last year. It's like the first episode I was supposed to record was with Mogoane, but like he it didn't work out. Something was wrong. I think like the video footage we recorded got like corrupted or something.
Oh.
And like it was before I got an actual decent video camera, so like I had to keep like standing up every like 20 minutes and
just checking.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you watch the last episode, that happens a lot.
Is it?
Like where I just lean over and just click, click, and then it just start over, and then like we just keep recording. So yeah, but like that's what we like. I was like, I don't want to be broke. Like I want like it was frustrating just like being at home.
It is, man. It is.
You don't have money, like you want to go out, you want to go treat yourself to something, but you don't have the money.
Just the lack of options.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the lack of options.
You know
like, what can I do today? Nothing. You don't have money, chief.
Right. And like, you know what frustrated me was like, cause like I had like lived near varsity. Like I've lived on my own for like 3 to 4 years by myself. Like
yeah.
You come back home, you gotta chill in your room, you gotta keep yourself busy. You know, there's no like.
You've got someone worrying about you when you're not home.
As soon as you step out, like, where you going?
Where you going?
Damn. You know, kind of thing. Like,
did I hear that properly? Did you just ask?
Me. Yeah. So it was that, and then like eventually I was like, okay, fuck it, man, let's go.
Yeah.
So see, like whatever happens, happens. No, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I want to go back to China in particular. I don't know. I'm just like everything's in the air right now. I'm just like just feeding out the mood, see what happens next. So I wanted to go back to varsity this year, so that really bummed me out. So I'm gonna have to like reapply and see like what they have to say, and then I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll stay, maybe I'll go. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Good job, man. It seems like a really nice thing. I had that option. I remember I spoke to. So I think I asked you about it as well, or via Instagram. You might have. Via Instagram, and when I got there, and I sort of weighed my options, and I'm like, I think the thing that worried me about that is the continuity when I came back, because I'm like, okay, it's gonna be great spending like a good year or two there, but then when I get back, say I enjoy it. When I get back, can I actually do something with that? Yeah, you gotta know what you're going there for. Exactly. So if you're gonna go there to like save up some like a crazy amounts of money, you're gonna come back. Are you gonna just blow it all? Are you gonna invest? Do you have something you're gonna do with that money? Exactly. So I knew I wanted to come back to school, so it was like after so many years, and then just continue with my life. So this kind of messed that up, but like I'm still like determined to go back to school, but like it's just like now I've like wasted that kind of like a year. Like I don't have that year anymore. Like, yeah, man. Like, I feel like that pandemic year was just. It was weird, man. It was weird. It's like everyone sort of lost it here. Yeah. You know, I don't know how that makes sense, but it's like, okay, what were you doing in 2020? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, huh? It's like it happened, but like you have no recollection of it. Cause like, exactly, because every day looked exactly the same. Precisely, you know, just like if you're someone like me, you know, you're just like you're like willing to go back to school. It's like, but you just came back a little bit too late, and you'd be like there, like, oof.
what now?
Yeah.
They're gonna be looking like, look at the time. Like,
Time doesn't even
it's only
matter.
March.
The time doesn't even matter, man. You're just looking at the calendar at this point.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
month after month, like, oh, it's July. Okay.
But a lot of people capitalize on like different things. Like some people got into like the Tinder business. Some people got into like trading. There's like a whole lot of trading going on right now.
What, the Tinder business?
Yeah. Yeah, because like think about it, Tinders.
Oh, Tenders.
Yeah.
Tinder. I thought you said Tinder business.
Tinder business.
What? How can you make money from Tinder now?
No, dude.
Ugh,
But I
okay.
mean, like, here's the thing. I think like a lot of people probably like were like using Tinder during that time.
Definitely.
So like,
Because you can't go out, the clubs and
Yeah,
everything and all of that, and you know, the usual spots were shut down.
yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Do you use Tinder?
no.
Have you ever tried it?
I'm in a relationship.
Oh, my bad.
So, yeah, I can't, I'm off the market.
It's terrible, dude. Fucking horrible. Like, no, let me tell you why. Cause like, here's the thing: you'll be on Tinder, you'll be talking to somebody. It's like the thing is like the first time you want to talk to somebody, you want to see them in person. You want to get the like you want to just check if the vibe is
It's
right.
a different game when you're in
It
person.
is.
Yeah.
You want to just check if the vibe is right. So like, you meet someone off Tinder, you guys match or whatever, you talk, it's all good, and then you move to WhatsApp, it gets weird. I don't know what it is about this. Sometimes you'll be talking to somebody like on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever, and then like you switch platforms to WhatsApp, and it's like.
Isn't it that there's maybe different expectations on WhatsApp?
What do you mean? Like,
In that.
about it?
I mean, think about the conversations that you have on WhatsApp. All of them have some sort of substance. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's either you already have a relationship with the person, you know them really well, so it's not awkward when you're both quiet.
Yeah.
But now with this person, it's like an empty box, and now you need to fill it with something.
That's
You're like,
a good
okay,
analogy.
now we need to talk. let's
Yeah.
actually talk about something, but
Yeah.
you don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So yeah. I don't know.
Mm.
I've never been into. I've never actually gone on Tinder while I was single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're so disciplined, bro. You're just built different, huh?
Nah, I don't know if I've never just thought. I just don't think I've ever thought about it. Like
Yeah.
while I was in that space, I'm like, let me have a look.
Yeah, I got tempted. I was like, damn.
Let me have a look, see what's popping out here.
'Cause you know what? Like, if you get easily bored with people, sometimes you'll be like, let me just check out what's going on. Because I find it easy to talk to people online as well.
Mhm.
Just as easy I find to talk to them like in person. So
Yeah.
I was like, let's see what gives. But like, people are so like they're so stuck up. Some women are so stuck up on Tinder. It's like I won't say hi to you unless you say hi first.
Oh.
Can you imagine dealing with that much attitude? I haven't even met you, dude. Like I don't even know you. Like I say hi. Some don't even respond, but it's okay. You know, it's like,
I think
it's
it's one of
personally.
those things where, especially with Tinder, where you're like it's literally like rapid dating, like you're just swiping left or right. So you're forced that if you've been on it for a long time, you're forced to have a list. You know, you're forced to have like a qualifying criteria type of thing. You know, because it's either you've been messed around a bit too much,
Mhm.
or I don't know. But then you're like, okay, I don't want to waste my time, so I need you to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before we can even.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when you come through and you're just a guy and you're like, hey, what's up? She's
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing.
she
No,
hits you with a
bro.
questionnaire.
Yeah, 'cause if
Or
you're a
she's
guy-
waiting for you to say that one thing. If you don't say it, then it's like, go.
Because like as a guy, I think guys sometimes have like very, very low standards. Because it'll be like, you're a fat ass, man. you're like, that's it for a lot of guys. That's it.
It's
That's
simple.
it. You're not looking for anything nuanced. You're like,
Like, can we have a conversation as
exactly.
European?
You're a fat ass. Shit, good for that. And, you know, like they're happy. He's like, man, fat ass. And then you swipe right, and he's happy.
Yeah.
And like it's just it's crazy because like a lot of things they just like run through your mind if you know what you're looking for. Like you're trying to talk to somebody, maybe you're just like looking for conversation.
Yeah.
Some people like talk great there, and then like you move online to
Onto WhatsApp, and then it's
like
weird.
it's mad weird, bro. So weird. Because I already have like I've already had like 2 experiences like this so far. It's like. For some reason, like maybe it's because like I'm just chilling at home, like everybody else has got a job. Because I think that's the thing, you can't be annoyed. I think as a person, when you're unemployed and people work, and like you just have time on your hands, and you're trying to talk to somebody.
You're in a different time zone.
Exactly.
I know that.
You're trying to talk to somebody, and they're like, "Does this nigga not work?" Like I'm just there like, hey, bro, I just want to have a conversation. What's up, girl?
You're trying to have a deep conversation
You know what I'm
at 10
saying?
a.m.
Like, yeah, then she's out there, she's like, got out the shower. You get out the shower, you're like, nigga, what?
Nigga,
Jesus,
calm down,
bro,
I'm
like,
busy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, maybe that's it. I don't want to attribute any kind of blame or accusing
Of
anybody
course,
of
of
anything.
course.
So, yeah, man. But like, for me, it's because like I'm not happy with like just like being able to like match with you and like just having like a little like short like conversation. You think like, hey, I want to have a conversation, bro. Let's talk about all kinds of things. Let's have fun. Let's hear what's up. So for me, that's more interesting than a person being able to hold a conversation with them and like just like sharing like different expectations, and you get to understand a lot about like some of the or like the way that women think, especially online in certain circumstances like this, because then you'll see like, oh, okay, well, what's her expectations for you? Because like some women don't like expressing the expectations, especially if they feel like especially if they feel like you're looking for something. They want to hear yours first.
That's weird.
They want to hear yours first.
That's
like
weird.
on Tinder, like a lot of guys are just like hunting for booty, right? They're just trying to get laid.
But then that's the thing though. You have your expectations, but then where are you? You understand? You're on Tinder. What happens here?
No, you don't say that. You don't say that.
No. I'm just saying. Obviously, some people have found love, and people are married over Tinder.
Okay.
Of course, so that opportunity exists,
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I mean, where are you?
So
what happens here?
But no, that's not fair. I mean, like I've genuinely seen people like there are people even looking for their husband. I've seen some crazy stuff.
For real.
Bro, like, don't match with me. I'm looking for my husband. Like, somebody will suspect like their husband is on Tinder. Like, and I'm like, what? Yeah, alright. Don't judge. You move on. And then like for some people,
What happens when you find it? What happens when you find it?
I don't know, bro. Like, geez, he's probably gonna be in a lot of trouble. Like, if you found
Just
that,
like a screenshot.
Yeah.
It's like, what's this?
Because you can't hide it. Because like, how are you gonna deny that, man? Like your wife just caught you
on Tinder,
bro. Like it's not like she caught you in the club.
Nah.
Like because at the club you could at least be like, no, I was having a drink with my boys.
Just here with the boys.
Just having a conversation.
But you're here. No, they just
Tinder.
left.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, at least some kind of excuse that you are on Tinder.
You're on
Tinder. You were
what
matching.
happened? Where are you and what happens here?
You were like, oh no, I don't like that. Kind of thing. But some people have open relationships as well. They'll just be like, yeah, I'm just looking for like a third partner.
There's always that.
For me and my husband, and you'd be like, okay, that's interesting. It wasn't the first time I heard about it though. It wasn't the first time I heard about something like that. When I was in China, I won't mention their names, but like I had like two like friends, like but they're like much older than me, like 40s plus.
Mm-hmm.
And they were telling me about like, yeah, bro, like you're still innocent. Like they're like to me, like you're still innocent, dude. You're in your 20s, dude. Like they're like
you don't know nothing.
Exactly. They're just like saying like, no, there's swinger couples and all these things out here. And I'm like, what? That's real? Like, yeah. And
that's not the movies?
Nah, dog. They were like, it's real. But like, I mean, I don't know. I was never there.
Yeah.
I was never there. They were the ones telling me about it.
Yeah.
I can't say anything about it. I can't speak on that. I don't know about it. The swinger couples and all these things. But the world is a big place. That's what you realize.
It's a massive place, man. People
realize.
do different things, different strokes for different folks and all of that. I heard someone use that. I heard someone say that exact same thing, like in in the workplace.
Yeah.
And I just sort of,
I'm like, what? You just want to fight it?
Okay. Like, does that work here? Okay. It's fine.
You had a Michael Scott moment.
Like, okay, all right. Keep it moving, Matthews. Yeah, that's none of your business.
I think I'm glad I didn't work. I never have to work in a very serious office space. I think I'd be I play too much, man.
Weirdly enough, there's space for that. You understand? Weirdly enough, there's space for that. Obviously, it depends on the environment, the kind of people that you're working with, and then by the relationship that you have with them. Yeah. But there's in a good company, there's space for you to be you. You understand? And if you've got creativity and you like playing, if you find a way to channel that in a way that actually improves morale or leads you to be productive in ways that other people aren't, then it works.
That's cool.
Then it works.
That's cool.
But then it's not as you remember the sort of idea that you had of corporate the corporate world when you were still in varsity.
Yeah,
It's
like
like
everything
it's in
suits all
just
straight
sitting at your
face, like they're
desk
gonna stick up their ass. Like,
every day.
morning, Michael. Like walking like, damn, dude, chill,
They have
bro.
KPIs and all of these different things
Gosh,
with meetings, prepping for meetings so that you can have that other meeting and all of that type of stuff. But it's not that hectic. Like,
No, it's not.
I don't think so. Yeah, I really don't think so. I've worked for a couple of companies, and everywhere, even though like you do have your stuck-up people that just kill the mood, permanently. You just kill the mood. But then most of the time, you usually have your space to sort of express yourself and just be you as well.
Yeah,
So it's
cool.
chill. It's chill, man. It's really chilled. But yeah, man. Yeah. So after your LB, are you looking to do something with that?
I don't know, man.
You just wanted.
That's it, like,
I just wanted as well. I won't lie.
I mean, like, I'd like to have it, so at least like I can like be able to go down that route and like work
And see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like I mean, it's part of the experience of life. You just like journey and you try different things. You try as much as possible. Because like I mean, like right now I have the luxury of being able to like, okay, I'm gonna try my hand at this. I'm gonna try my hand at that.
Hey,
try
man.
this, you know, like
That's. I'm very grateful for that. That I had that opportunity as well to be like, I'm just gonna do this.
yeah.
You know, it may not work out, but even if it doesn't, it's still fine. I can
Right.
try something else
Yeah,
afterwards.
that's
Just thinking about the number of people that just don't have that opportunity.
it sucks.
Yo,
It sucks, man.
just imagine, like straight out of like you need to, just that one thing, just not needing to have a job.
Because I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're like lucky enough to get to varsity, it's there's still a lot of pressure where you have to be able to decide like, okay, well, I'm fresh out of high school, assuming like you've gone through all those different things of like career counseling and all these things, and it was sufficient enough to have you making like an informed decision about like what should you be doing for the rest of your life. Most people probably don't. They just like straight from like high school, and they jump straight into
whatever they think,
and have to
whatever
study
they
that.
think will make them the most money.
Exactly.
Not even what they
You know what I'm
enjoy.
saying? Like,
Straight into the thing they think that will make them the most
it's gonna
money.
be hard to have passion for it, especially if you're like you're not somebody who can quickly adapt and be like, oh, okay, well, this is not for me. Got to switch quickly. Some people are lucky enough to be able to do that at varsity. We're like,
Yeah, the mindfulness to be able to do that and be like, nah, this doesn't work. Like 3 months in, and be able to switch. Some people don't even know that they can switch. Or some people are just like, ah man, it's hard now, but it'll get better later.
Exactly.
You know?
Man.
But then,
Sucks.
yeah, it's really rough.
Mm.
It's really rough.
So I'm really happy right now. I can have the the freedom and the choice to be able to, okay, let me try my hand at this. Let me try that. Let me try that. And if it doesn't work out, okay, I know there's something I can always do. Because I mean that's essentially what I feel like we've had the responsibility to do as like this as a generation in general. That like, we need to show like our parents that like there's so many different opportunities and there's different like routes you can take in your career path. You don't always have to go to university to do that.
Man.
You can if you want to.
You can if you
and
want
it's
to.
a bonus and it's a benefit. It's like a long-term thinking. In the long term, it might benefit you for the better.
True.
But it doesn't always have to be that way. There's a lot of ways to like go about like building your career and building your future.
And the thing that I learned as well is that as long as you keep busy, no matter what you're doing, there's always something you're going to learn from it. It's like you'll always be a better person of it. Like if you go into like a 6-month working, whatever, wherever, I'm sure you're a much different person before and after China.
Definitely.
Right? So completely different person. Like all of the little things that I've been able to do, the little businesses that I've tried to do on the side or whatever. Like after that whole experience, even if I decide, this is not working, or it fails dismally, either way, once that ends, you look back on it and you're like, oh, I'm glad I did it because, I'm very, very different now than I was before.
True, man.
Yeah.
You just change as a person. And it's not like a drastic change. You just,
No.
they're just small incremental differences in like your personality.
Something as simple as just, just being just a little more competent.
True. True.
Okay, I'm not as lazy now because I saw what being lazy did to that business. Amen. Just that little bit of it. Like, fuck, I lost quite a bit of money there just because I, didn't take that meeting. I'm not going to do that again.
You got to try harder for your businesses.
You're going to have to try harder.
You're going to have to fight. Like, you have to give it everything. You got to kick yourself in the ass if you have to.
Hey, man, there's just that discipline when you're on your own. I feel like that's a whole skill, that's a whole art on its own. Just being able to, when you're on your own, and be like, okay, we're gonna wake up today, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, and we're not gonna stop until we're done.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, just being able to do that. That's an entrepreneur. They've got that. They've got that. I found it very hard to just have that on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Very, very hard. Like I did it for periods of time, but there were times where I'd be like, like for a good week, I'm like, nah. From Monday, man, nah, I'm not doing this.
I mean, how do you work through that? I mean, like as a person, sometimes you just need to be able, like, okay, today I don't feel like doing this, but like deep down, you're gonna feel like an asshole if you don't do it. Like you're probably gonna be like, you're gonna be so hard on yourself in the next few weeks if you don't do it.
True.
And I mean, I get it. Like I mean, we all have those days where you wake up and you're like, nah, not today, bro. Not today. You just move on and try to do something else.
I don't know, man. The way I sort of dealt with it was, like I said, I just chose to take everything as a learning curve, right? To just say, okay, we're not to say we're trying it out, because if you say I'm trying this out, you're not going to be as committed as when you say I'm doing this, like I'm all in.
Yeah.
So I just made sure that every single time I'm just what's this thing, putting in 100%, and if that's the only way you're going to feel better about yourself, even if something goes sort of down the drain, it doesn't work out the way you hope it will, that you've given 100%, that you know that you're always in it. So if it didn't work out, and if one of the reasons why it didn't work out is because you weren't up to it, or you didn't do the things that you were supposed to do, then you sort of look into yourself and you're like, okay, how can I do this better, right? Because it wasn't because I flaked out, or I didn't want to, or I didn't feel like it. I actually did try, and on the days where I didn't go, I didn't do it, I really found it very difficult to do so, you know. So just make sure that you give it 100% for me, and then if it doesn't work out, and even if the reason why it doesn't work out is because you didn't work out, or you didn't do the things that were supposed to, then it's a much better, like you know what you need to work on, even on yourself, and it's genuine things that you need to fix, and it's not just you were lazy, or you were this, or you were that, but you know that, okay, you found it difficult to do this, to do that, you weren't disciplined enough to do that. Okay, let's build the discipline. Let's do this. Let's get better on that and that and that and that. Sometimes it's just not for you, you know. Yeah. I mean, that's something that I sort of learned when it comes to entrepreneurship and everything. That I love it. I love doing it. I love starting a business and actually getting it to a point where it's actually making money and so on and so forth. Like, it's a great feeling. Yeah. But I just learned that I just don't have the temperament to just do that forever. You understand? Like I do much better in a career where everything isn't on my shoulders to push. You understand? So I just decided, okay, fine, let's find something that I actually do enjoy and I actually want to do, and that property works for me. I enjoy it. I love it. Like I said, my reason for going back to varsity was to get my LLB and to go into the legal side of property as well and just do that. So I enjoy it. I love it. I wake up every morning. I'm not late to work because I'm actually looking forward to learning more and actually doing what I do, you know. So yeah, that worked out a lot better for me.
That's pretty
awesome. But yeah, the entrepreneurship, but I love it, like I said, but you know.
You still have those weeks.
Yeah. Wake up in the morning, it's a Monday morning and everyone's busy and you're like, I'm not doing this, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. That's one thing that sucks about building something by yourself or for yourself, working like into like it's like generally working in a different field where you're still learning, because you're on the incline the whole time. You're just trying to level up and some days you feel like you don't have that energy, but you just need to dig in deeper, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I haven't had to push myself that far yet. So hopefully we'll get there.
No, man. I mean, it's fun. Sometimes. It's fun sometimes, but it's worth it all the time.
Right.
It's always worth it. Just going 100%. The results, man. The results always do it. The results always do it. And if you enjoy getting the results, that's it. You found your thing.
Yeah.
You found your thing. You know.
Jeez, man. Being result driven is insane.
Being result driven is insane, man. Because when
gamble?
they don't, huh?
Have you ever gambled?
I've always thought about it.
Still about it. Don't do it, man.
I've always thought about it.
It's a horrible vice to have. It's a horrible habit because I think what's scary about it nowadays is like it's how easy it is for you to start gambling. Okay.
The apps on your phone.
Exactly.
With the sock.
I was about to mention Betway.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about.
Betway is murdering people in South Africa, man. Like,
I saw this meme yesterday.
Yeah.
They're like on Betway. They're like the bet is 500. I don't know how it works. I've never been on Betway, but I saw the meme, and it's like the bet is 500. You could win 20,000. And what's the bet? None of the goalkeepers are going to smoke weed during halftime.
Yeah.
And then
why?
and then it shows a picture. It's like halftime. This dude just with this just chilling in the goalpost. The one thing that you never think is gonna happen, you're like, oh well, this looks legit. Like this could work out.
It's got you know how bad it gets. I know people like legit start thinking like, nah, this shit is fucking ridiculous. Bro, like
everything is.
Yeah, because like I mean, like you know, it's crazy, dude. Like I remember yesterday, I had a slip for like R2 or something. Like you can like, cause like okay, so if you wanna bet on Betway, maybe you wanna do football. Like if you like football, you can like pick a whole host of teams. You could do a multi-bet slip where you're gonna like pick like as many teams as you want virtually and predict
whichever teams you want.
So in a match, in one match, you can predict like, okay, either this team will win or this team will win, or strictly this team will win, or strictly that team will win, or strictly nobody's gonna score, or strictly this team is gonna score so many goals, or strictly this team is gonna score under overs or unders, over one goal, under one goal. You know, all these different things, and like it's fucking crazy. Because you just then like,
I could win.
Exactly, you just get excited because like you think about the probability of anything happen. It's never zero.
Yeah.
There's always a chance that something might happen. So I had a slip yesterday.
There's always a chance that Sheffield United could score 5 against Man City.
Exactly, you just demolish them. And like, but you need to have balls to bet on that. To say like, you know what, I feel like today Sheffield United is gonna fuck up Manchester City. You need to have balls to be able to do that. You can bet on it. You know, I mean, like the nice thing is like,
and the chance, knowing the EPL, you can always get it.
Yeah, and the odds are always great. Like you could, like I mean, how odds work? That's
how they get you. Right?
Yeah, that's how the odds. Yeah, exactly. Because like if the odds look good, like you could like bet like R1. So you put R2, R1 on a slip, and what they're gonna do is like you're gonna take all the things you betted on, and they each have an odd, or like a number of like probability. It's never under 1. It's always like 1.000. So essentially what happens, if you have a multi-bet slip, they take all those odds and they sum the numbers and they're going to multiply that number by your bet. So if you bet R1 on maybe however amount odds are, say odds are like 456 odds, but you'd have to have like a ridiculous amount of games that you're betting on.
Yeah.
And you times
you could win
R1 or R2 by those odds,
whatever,
and that gives you $800 or $400, and you can win that, right? But that's a multi-bet slip. Remember, that means like every single prediction you make needs to happen,
come through,
right? So yesterday,
you need to be Nostradamus with this.
Exactly.
You know, you need
like
to
you just need to have, you need to be like to the universe and be saying like.
You need to have everyone on call.
Exactly.
Man. You need to have Pep's number. You need to have everyone's number.
But like you know, the one thing you can always bet on is like Bruno Fernandes was scoring a penalty.
Oh man, he's my captain.
It's easy money, but the odds on that are very low. Meaning that like they know that you always get that. Like, you know, like so they'll probably give you like a payout of like 1.16 on that odd. So like if you bet R1, you get R1.16.
Oh,
10 rand. What?
10
11 and 60 cents.
Yeah.
100 rand. You know, like the higher it goes, the better it gets. But like,
but then
you're still gambling at the end of the day. It's still.
So the only way you can make money from a sure bet is by betting a lot of money, right? So betting that Bruno's gonna score,
Yeah.
and you put $1 million on it,
If
you
have
can
it,
make
yeah.
money.
You can make money off of that.
You understand?
Yeah.
But then if he doesn't,
You just lost $1 million. It's gone. It's tanked. You just tanked it. You just fucked up, you know? It's
Yeah.
not worth it. It's not worth it. So yesterday I had a slip, and I think I had I just played it safe. I was like, either this team or this team will win. That team will win. So forth. And then Red Bull Leipzig was playing Borussia Mönchengladbach yesterday. Halftime, 2-0 down. And I was like, fuck me. I bet on RB Leipzig winning.
Yeah,
They were like
yeah.
2-0 down at halftime. I was like, what? And like it gave me an option to cash out. I was like, fuck that, I'm taking my $1.60.
Give me my money.
Give me my money.
Give me my money.
Give me my $1. Dude, I go to sleep, I wake up in the morning. Guess what the final score was? 3-2. I was like, you motherfucker. I was
You
so
let me check
dude,
out.
I was so
How
mad.
could you do that?
But I don't regret it because like the next bet was like for Sporting Lisbon to play FC Porto. And then like bet was like I expected like either Porto or Lisbon to win. Game ended, it was 0-0 draw. So I was like, okay, well I kinda saved myself, but it was like $1, but still kinda fucked up. But I was still so mad because I was like, dude, what? But that's football. That's football. Then if you're a football fan, you know these things happen.
You know these things happen, but it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you.
You just get to be like, I could have.
You know?
Could've.
It's like, City, don't disappoint me.
So when I was on Bedway, I went down a rabbit hole with Bedway, man. At some point, I was playing Blackjack. Oh, dude. Blackjack is easier to play for me because I feel like it's like you need to get to 21 or you can bet under anything. You hope like the dealer will bust. It's like, okay, cool, whatever happens, happens. And I think I've won twice. Like I got a good payout, like about something close to like $400 and $300 on 2 separate occasions. I was like, okay, I'm out. First time I won, I was like,
that's the trick, though.
Yeah.
That's the
First
trick. If
time-
you're able to just go out and leave.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy. You'll be playing like you're like, okay, cool. I just got $300. Oh fuck. Let me put in 50 rand and just like I can double that.
Yeah,
Get
I mean,
100 bags.
And I'm already going through it in my head. Like,
Exactly.
it's not my money anyway.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Let me
I just want it. Like just
want it.
Yeah, I can put that.
It's not my money. Let me just take the 300.
So what I do, I just like withdraw like 80% of it. It's like that's going back to my pocket.
Yeah.
I'll still like gamble at 20% away, and like
Yeah.
20% will just get like murdered. They just take it back.
It's like they know that you just won.
Exactly. It's just like this motherfucker. Give us some money
Give me
back.
my money, man. Give me my money.
Exactly. But like, yeah, it's fun, but it's like, like if you're not careful, you just like
It gets you. It hits.
it gets addictive. Cause like it triggers like you're happy. Oh, you get excited, man. It's like, oh my gosh, I just won.
I just won.
Give me more.
Give
And
me.
like, you just put more money in there. and, like,
I can win more. I know the
Exactly.
EPL. I know the Bundesliga. Let's do this. Let's do
Exactly. And if you've ever played FIFA, like, and then you were supposed to be doing something else, it's more or less the same feeling.
this.
If you're, you know when you play in career mode in FIFA, and you're just kicking ass, you're demolishing niggas, and maybe you're about to like you just like keep playing like one more game. But dude, you look at the time, like it's 11 p.m. at night. You gotta go to sleep or you gotta study for this or do something. But you just keep saying one more game.
Oh, and
Next
you
thing
enjoy
you
it so
know,
much.
you look up there.
That's when FIFA actually hits.
That's exactly what gambling is like. You just be playing the whole time. You'll be like, oh, okay, no, I just won here. Or you lose one, you're like, come on, let me win the next one. I'll win the next one. I'll win the next one. I'll win the next one. Next thing you know, bro, you're down bad, man. You just like blew like $50 or something on gambling. You don't even know it. So you just gotta be like,
I'm out.
You gotta know when to stop. Cause like at some point, like I installed it and I was like, I'm done with Betaway, bro. Like, screw these guys.
You always have that option that you can uninstall.
That's the
it.
great thing about it. Like you don't have to face it. You don't have to be like, oh, I can't get away from it. Like
Yeah, but
you can just remove it and it's gone.
and it's gone.
It's gone.
But then that's the thing with addiction, man. It overrides that, doesn't it? You always know where you can get it. You know, you always know you can download it on Play Store.
That's very
As
true.
long as you have a
That's
smartphone,
very
you always have access.
Hey man, you need to have that self control then.
That's where that self-control comes through.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be able to be like, no, this is bad for me and I'm not going to do it anymore.
You gotta be disciplined enough to say to the little bitch in you, be like, bro, no, I'm not doing it. You're not talking about this.
Shut the fuck up, man. Come on. Just one more, man. Just 2 rand. Just 2 rand, man.
bucks.
Doesn't even make a difference, man. You're gonna lose it to bank charges.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, like, you can't, like, even if you deposit, you'd be like, oh, deposit $10. Let me make it $20, so at least when I want to do it again,
man.
I've already got the bank charges.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
It's the same thing. It's actually the same thing with these in-app purchases for games.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're playing a game and you're in, man. Like you've played like 10 hours in the last week.
Or the freemiums.
The freemiums, yeah. You're
Candy Crush and things like that.
Yeah, you're playing. You're like, how much is that? 16 rand. Oh, man, but I'm enjoying this game, you know, and it was free. So I'm just playing 16 rand for this game. Okay, well, that's fine.
But it's not so bad, like, at first.
At first. At first. Right. Well, that's this thing, Clash of Clans.
I've never played that.
You never played
Clash of Clans?
It's good, man. It's good. Like I've deleted it from my phone, though. I've had to do that. Because every time you're like, oh, flip, man, I need to upgrade my walls, I need to upgrade my barracks and all of that. And you're like, oh, man. And that's the thing, and like I was thinking about it one time, and I'm like, you know what, you get all of these things, like these in-app things, like playing FIFA. Sure. You understand? And you like career mode is popping and you're good, you know. You just, you know, that you just took that team from like the second division and you're in Champions League now, and it's everything. And I'm like, okay, spend about a good 5 hours playing with this team and whatever. Yeah. And you're like, but then, what did I get? And that's where it always hits me. True. And I'm like, but okay.
Well, the thing about gaming is, gaming was supposed to be something where you're like, you know what, I just want to decompress. I feel like I've been under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I've been stressed out about this, about that, and you go and you play a game, and you know maybe you've already bought it for like $50, whatever it is, and like you just play that you enjoy.
Yeah. The damages will really
exactly.
You know, so you're just playing. Although the only thing you're giving up is your time now, and it's time you're willing to give.
Exactly. But like when it becomes something where you're just addicted to winning, it gets bad.
And you start taking time and money from other things that are important and giving it to this thing.
Because that's part of the reason why I quit Facebook, because I just keep getting all these invites for like, come play with me on my fruit farm. Come play Candy Crush with me.
That's all it is. That's all Facebook is these days, bro.
I quit. I saw it coming. I was like, dude, I'm scrolling my Facebook feed and it feels like I'm walking down a street full of billboards.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. I was like, there's an ad here, there's an ad there. And I was like,
yeah.
I'm tired, bro. I was like, I registered my account, deleted it, I was gone.
You did. It just sits there for me. Yeah. It doesn't even give me notifications.
I miss it sometimes, but.
Really?
Yeah, because the nice thing is like, you can talk to people every now and then. You can post on somebody's walls like, hey, what's up? Are you good? All right, cool. And then they post on your wall. You're like, yeah! They're writing about each other. You say some dumb shit like, Wandy was here.
Yeah.
They come there like, Matthew was here. And then you guys have a great time. And that's that, you know what I'm saying? And you could post a picture on somebody's wall. Because like the great thing about it was like, you know, it was giving you a whole world of like a different way of interacting. Because you imagine like, you know, now I have to like explain the meme to you. Facebook, I could just like, dude, post it on your wall, check out this meme, just tag you.
Yeah.
We can do that on Instagram, but like on Facebook it's different because like I tag you on the meme and then like you can reply with another picture
and it can cover the whole thing.
Like exactly, you know, it's a whole thread, you're talking smack and it's a good time. Everybody's laughing.
Yeah.
But like it's just that was a great thing about it, but like I couldn't just
it made sense. I don't know, it made a lot more sense back then. But now, I don't know, man. I don't know whether it's just the way people choose to see it now, but it's also what it's become as well. Like you said, it's just ads.
Because I had to like start monetizing it. I had to start making money off of it. Like there's like, I wonder how much money they make off of that shit.
I'm just waiting for that to happen to WhatsApp.
They sort of are, but not really. I don't know. Like, I think they do. Like they sharing like your information with Facebook. Like
who you're friends with.
In a way, yeah. Because like then, in that way, I guess they can like, because they create a profile of you. So you have a profile that you create, right?
Yeah.
And then like how they sell targeted ads is that like so say we're gonna have Matthews as a profile. So we have your profile here. Maybe they won't write your name on it. They'll give it a serial number, but like it can be cross-referenced to your name, your details, and all those things. So they'll literally be tracking you. As soon as you log off Facebook, they'll still be like following you behind. So you can imagine there's some creepy dude just like waiting around the corner and be like, okay, he just walked into Checkers right now and he walked out with like 5 Mogoane white chocolates. And they're just keeping track of all these things. And then somebody's like, hey, I'm looking for people. And then like say I run a business with chocolates. And I'm like, hey, Facebook, I want to buy an ad from you guys. I'm selling chocolates. We're like, we've got just the guy for you.
Just the guy for you.
And then like the great thing is like I don't even have to spend any money on like trying to find like customers. I'd be like, okay, here's my ad, and then Facebook would be like, don't worry about it. You just chill.
We'll show it to the right
yeah,
people.
we'll give the ads to the customers.
We know a guy.
Yeah, and that's why you'll be like talking about something with your friend, like, hey man, did you see that I don't know, that Daily Sun article yesterday? Whatever. And you go on like maybe you're scrolling down your Facebook and you see
Your
buy a
Facebook, even
subscription.
your Instagram.
Yeah,
you know?
they start like advertising subscriptions for like the Daily Sun newspaper and all these things, and you're like, yeah, that's weird. But that's because like there's that creepy guy who's been following you around the
he's
internet.
taking
He's
notes
like
about
taking-
every
yeah,
single thing that you're doing. Just
He's like writing it down, scribbling it. He's like that's what it is.
That's
it's not
right.
like there's like, oh, okay, he just had a fight with his girlfriend. Sell that to the
But
government.
then that's the thing. Do you see all the memes that were flying around with the WhatsApp thing?
Mhm.
You know, they're like you say hi to your crush, and then she says hi back, and then they show the whole Instagram. What's the WhatsApp office sort of celebrates?
You're like, yeah, he's achieved his crush. But that's why he was like that's something that's always been happening. Even like remember when the NSA, when it first broke out, that the NSA was like just like doing mass surveillance, so just like collecting everybody. But this is just in America.
The whole Snowden thing.
Yeah, that's what Snowden exposed. Like, it's just like mass surveillance. It's like, you can't just like be collecting everybody's information.
For no reason. What?
They had a
reason.
It's like they were looking for terrorists.
come
Like they were looking for indications somebody might be a terrorist. But dude,
everybody's information.
right? Like you
know what I'm saying.
You know
to
what I'm saying? Like
everyone.
Dude, like my next door neighbors are not terrorists. Like I've known them all my life. But like for them, it's like you're just collecting everybody's information. My neighbors are there, I'm there, they're there, everybody's there. What are you doing with that information? And they're just like storing it and storing it and storing it. Like, what are you doing with that information?
I mean, it opens up the door for someone to really be malicious with it. Yeah, sharp as the government, we think that they have our best interests at heart. But I think the fact that someone has that information other than you, just the privacy of it.
Yeah, because the thing is like, it's not like it's not like institutions or like these organizations are bad. It's just like in any company. There's always going to be bad people.
You don't need to have this.
Yeah, there's going to be like naughty people in an organization. There'll be that one guy who'll be like probably be like turning on somebody's webcam,
exactly.
like watching somebody take off their clothes, or like just going through like all the information that they've like received.
Just reading people's conversations,
their pictures or whatever, or like you're trying to get one over your ex-girl and you can find her information in a database, something like that.
Just put in her name or whatever, ID or whatever, and then you know exactly what's happening in
that's
her
what's
life.
messed up about it, and that's why some of the concerns that that they were being raised by students, like, well, one bad person could be in here and like they could like just do something messed up because you're collecting all of this information.
But the US is a very different. I don't know. I used to always sort of look at them as to see, not what the ideal state would be, but then how things can go terribly wrong, because we always sort of follow in their footsteps in a way, but not always directly. But then whatever happens there, give it a few years. It's
yeah, they are the
gonna
leaders of
happen
the world.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, of course, South Africa we're working with a much smaller scale, and they've got like 350 million people, got like 50, 60.
Yeah, that was like that was so weird for me when I thought South Africa was kind of big, and they're like, no, US population is something like 200 million plus people.
Yeah,
That's
around
insane.
300 million. India's got like 1 billion.
So
So does China.
it's crazy.
She's like,
So
I've
many
got
people.
1 billion people.
But like what's freaky? You don't see it when you're there.
Really?
You don't.
Is it that big though?
It's a big country. China's very big. It's like ridiculously big, dude.
Yeah.
I think there's like, okay, I wouldn't like.
Is it big because like they've just got like a bunch of land? Like,
Yeah, they do have a bunch of land.
Or is it just developed in a lot more places? Because if I think we had, like we've got land, and I feel like if we developed and had like a lot more cities, we'd feel like a much bigger country as well. But right now, it's either you're in Pretoria, Johannesburg, Bloem, Durban, Cape Town.
Alright, I hear you.
You know, it doesn't feel that big.
They have a lot of those.
They've got a lot of cities, yeah.
They have a lot of cities, and like they're very like, modernized cities.
Mhm.
Cost of living in some cities is quite expensive, but I mean it's generally like affordable everywhere. it's big because they have land, and it's big because they've also developed a lot of these cities, and almost every single city, it's not impossible to get anywhere. You can get to any like part of the country within a day.
Shit. Okay.
Right? It's a little bit weird to think about because like they got high speed trains like traveling at like 200-300 kilometers
throughout.
per hour.
Yeah.
And just like you could be like you could be in Cape Town like now, and then like in 3 or 4 hours you could be like in Limpopo type of thing, like just like moving through the country like a crazy rate.
Yeah. So you can work in Limpopo while living in Cape Town.
If you want,
it will
but
be
like
hard.
you
don't
do
it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't put yourself through that. Yeah, you barely have enough to. You just sleep on the train at that point. You like come in for breakfast and then you leave.
Like, hey, what's up, guys?
Exactly.
You're on your way again. Have a change of clothes and leave again.
Precisely. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, the infrastructure is like it's out of this world. Man.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. They're ahead. I don't know if they're ahead. They're further ahead than the US. Not yet, but I think they're getting there. Like, yeah, in terms of like the accessibility of like technology, of like how much they like popularize because like a lot of the times the US will start doing something and then they'll popularize it. So you think about electric vehicles. Electric vehicles have been popular in China for the longest time.
Really?
Yeah. Because like they don't really have any issues with like electricity supplying. So they can just like pretty much do anything in terms of that. Like they have an abundance like in terms of electricity supply, and like the USA they've been talks about like electric vehicles and things like that in there, but like they've never been like. But
also again, remember in China it's a lot easier to get things through because of the politics, because of the nature of the politics. You've just got what's his name, Xi Jinping, just sort of chilling there, making all of the decisions.
Not necessarily.
But then it's a much simpler political field to sort of maneuver, because in the US, it's the Republicans, it's the Democrat. If you're coming in from this side, you know you're going to get opposition on this side. If you're coming in from this side, you know you're going to get opposition on this side.
There's only one brand of politics, more or less. Like to say in China, where like they won't something being politicized is because the state doesn't agree with it. It's not that like their individual actors would be like, I don't like Matthews' politics, so I'm going to make it hard for him to set up factories here.
Yeah.
It's easy, like if the state feels like, okay,
we're going to do this, then they're going to do it.
Like, for like something like Tesla to come to China, like I've seen so many Model X's and S's and like in China, I was like,
oh man, I just
because that's the thing, you see that
and we're not gonna get it here anytime soon because of
it. Haven't you seen any?
In SA?
I might have seen one X or something. It might have been imported. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I might have seen one or something.
Your electric bill, yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know, man.
I
hope.
But that's the trade-off for it. Like like how much money do you spend on fuel now?
True.
And like with electricity, you can like arguably go off grid. If you get like enough solar panels, you get like.
But the startup cost of it.
Yeah, but the long term, man. Like
long term, you'd be good.
They just like NERSA is just fucking high. It's just like allowing ESCOM to like hike the price every single fucking like 3 months or 6 months. We just had another like tariff hike a couple of months ago, like a couple of weeks ago, in fact.
A couple of weeks ago, very recent one. Yeah.
The electricity just keeps going up, and like ESCOM believes that like because everybody is installing solar panels and things like that.
Who's everybody?
Okay, but let's say like the small amount of people who are installing solar panels into
all the white people.
Like I think there are a few black people as well, but yeah, those people, right? Here's what ESCOM has to say about it. It's like, okay, fine, they're installing solar panels, but like when you have solar panels, you can only use that electricity for like X amount of like hours of the day. There's only so much electricity you can collect, right?
Yeah.
So it'll collect. Maybe you have a battery. Maybe you don't.
Yeah.
But when it's nighttime, or maybe when there isn't sunlight out during the day,
in the winter,
you're falling back onto the grid.
Yeah.
You're relying on the grid again. And ESCOM argues that like that creates a surge in demand, and because of that, they need to charge those people more electricity. I was like, that's fucking horseshit.
But then they're charging everyone else.
Exactly. So it's not like
doesn't make sense.
They deflecting. I think they just deflect issues. They don't want to take accountability for anything. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like how are you gonna say like
That's
because
not
you sought a solution for yourself.
No, that's
We're
not
going
really-
to charge you more because now you want electricity from us again.
Yeah, but then, what do you mean a surge, bro? Like they're using more. Okay, I get it, I understand it, but
Yeah.
then they at the end of the day they're using less for the most part. You know, they're going off the grid. They're not getting electricity from you, so the strain on you is a lot less. You
But
understand?
no, not necessarily. Because like think about it like this: like the grid has X amount of electricity that they can X megawatts they can they're supposed to be like
Yeah,
supplying.
capacity.
Yeah, the capacity. So they'll be like, okay, peak time, this neighborhood, we know that usually like we need to provide X amount of like megawatts of electricity to this like area or whatever it is. And then they'll notice it's a spike, and then they'll be like, oh, the system is
Now we need to produce
overburdened.
more,
Now we
yeah.
need to make more, and then next day maybe they're like the system
It was a
has
sunny
worked
day,
overload,
yeah.
or whatever the case is. Like when they start having more problems now, they want to attribute it to that,
Mm.
which I don't agree with because it's like you guys are supposed to be supplying electricity for people who are connected to the grid anyway. You shouldn't be measuring who's using so much and who's using so little, just for the sake of being able to say
Yeah.
you guys weren't using that much to begin with, because it's pay to use. People are going to pay for it
Yeah,
anyway.
it doesn't make sense.
It's more of like an infrastructure issue for them, and they're not trying to be accountable for it.
And again, they're punishing us or those people who decided to go off the grid for. They're punishing them from trying to solve ESCOM's problem.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
You made me go off the grid. If you weren't as unreliable as you are, then I wouldn't be here. But now you're making me pay more.
Yeah, it's in the news. It's in the news. It's there. Bro. It's there. It's there. It's not a lie. It's like it's mind blowing the way these like people think. But like that's the thing. They're not.
They need to do something. They need to do something. They need to. It's always like it's a lesser of two evils type of thing. I feel like when you're in politics, like you need to always choose the answer or the response, or type out the press release that will get you the least amount of shit.
We can't let ANC back into office again, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's not something that you can't keep them out. That's the thing you can't.
You
keep
have
them
to.
out.
Like, you have to try.
It's
People
hard.
like, see, who even gonna vote for?
Exactly. There is no other option. There is no other option.
Elections are next year, right? General elections are next year, right?
No, I think it's a municipal one next year. When the elections were last, the year before last.
CR17's campaign.
CR7 was it CR17?
Yeah.
It was 17.
Yeah, because that's what I remember. It was like
Oh shit!
he was trying to copy like Cristiano Ronaldo.
2017.
Yeah, I think they should be
18,
next year. 5 years. right?
Oh
5 years. Yeah.
flip!
Yeah, municipal should be this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh snap!
Well, it might coincide with next year's.
But it's been quiet. It's because of Corona.
Corona did take a year off of it. It did take a year off of it. Let me just like make sure this thing is charging.
Sure.
Because I mean, you know what's crazy for me is that like you think about how much time you're gonna have to spend on just thinking who's worth your vote. It's gonna be tricky. That's what you need to figure out.
I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. It's a very weird thing to sort of try and do in South African politics too. Having change is very difficult, and I mean, I don't see a reality where the ANC loses power and it's okay.
What do you think is gonna happen?
I don't know. But I don't see a reality, like a version of events where the ANC loses power and it's fine.
Like, I mean, they definitely will.
We'll respect democracy. And we'll be fine.
So what are you saying? Do you think like it's the citizens will
Shit's
have
gonna
more of a
hit the
problem with it than like?
They're gonna have a
Then
problem
what's
with
it?
it, and they have enough support to actually, sort of flip the
Do
table.
you think they won't respect
They won't
the
leave.
independence of the elections?
They won't
You
leave.
think so? You really
They
believe
won't.
so?
The longer they're in power, the bigger the chances that they won't leave.
But I mean, they've been losing support over the last few years.
Yeah, but they haven't lost an election.
They've
Listen,
lost
listen,
local elections.
Yeah, in certain parts.
Yeah, in some provincial. I think they
Certain-
lost Limpopo, but then they lost it to EFF.
I think they lost Limpopo. At some point, they didn't have Pretoria, right?
They had to like form a coalition for Pretoria.
Yeah. No, the Pretoria belonged to the DA was before these last elections.
No, but that was because of the coalition that they formed. Because like it wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't
being
out.
outright.
Yeah, the DA didn't have it out and out, but
The amount of votes were like there was something like close to like it was like 30, 40, 30 kind of thing. Where like
Yeah.
if like the EFF was like no, you're not being president. Like, DA is not going to be the mayor. Then it's like okay.
yeah,
Well, ANC is going to be then like okay. EFF is going to be it's not going to be the mayor. Then okay. Then they had an impasse and then they had to be like okay, let's form a coalition.
yeah,
We'll pick the leaders and then this is how we're gonna this is how we're gonna
yeah.
run the city as an organization as a coalition.
But yeah, I don't see the ANC being okay with it. That's my issue.
But they have to be, because
Yeah, Trump had to be. Was he?
It's I mean
The most established democracy in the world. They were going around sort of giving out democracy to everyone else, saying, they're right for democracy, and they go and they blow shit up and then they give you democracy.
But we know
where's Libya right now?
We know they don't give a shit. We know they don't give a shit about democracy.
No, but they give a shit about their democracy. They do. Well, some of them do. Most of them do.
I mean,
they care about actually being able to have a say about shit.
No, I mean like. On the face of it, yeah, sure. But I mean, like the problem with with what happens in a lot of countries is like a lot of political organizations play politics more than they do solve like real problems. So like on the face of it, it's like it's democracy because you get to vote for people. But is it democracy in the sense where it's like this is how we're solving problems? Not necessarily. It doesn't look like it because. But then
that's the ideal. That's the ideal sort of idea of how it's supposed to work. Look at what happened with. I look at what happened with Trump, and I'm like, that could definitely happen here. The simple thing that happened with Trump was like he said, okay, I have enough votes or I have enough support to say no, to do whatever the fuck I want, and these people will support me in it. And he actually gave it a shot. You understand?
Yeah.
And till today, there's a bunch of politicians, bruh, people who've been elected into seat who are not willing to concede the fact that Trump lost. They're like, nah, you need to look at the fact they don't even want to give that as a proper answer to say, no, Trump lost, and
but he did lose. That's the thing.
Yeah, but they don't want to say it. You understand? That's the same thing that could happen here. There's so many people who benefit from the ANC being in power that if they just decided to say, no, it was rigged. There's so many of them that they would literally just slide over it as a country.
You don't have to
for the sake of peace.
No, hell no. We don't have to go to court because then, at that point, it'll be very close to trying to overthrow the state because the whole idea behind South Africans' elections
is there a difference between the ANC and the state right now? Is there a
difference?
Yeah,
of course there is. I mean, if there wasn't a difference, then we'd be able to say okay, well, that's why we can trust in the ANC to deal with these corrupt individuals, but they're not. The state is supposed to deal with them, but they're not. But that's why we're able to distinguish. Okay, well, they're not treating the state with the respect that it deserves. They're more willing to bow down to the ANC, and that's what we're seeing. Whereas when somebody, especially Ace Makashule or Jacob Zuma, these guys are more in particular Ace. Remember when Ace was facing a lot of it's still there, the whole
even now
the whole the asbestos issue.
Last week, bro.
We've been waiting, and what I found is that a lot of things are being treated more as a political issue than an issue of state. Or as a governmental issue.
Yeah.
And because of that,
Ace has a court date. Ace's case is pending sort of legal adjudication, whatever. You understand? But it's a political thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's people are trying to kick me out. Ramaphosa doesn't like me. Whatever narrative he's trying to push. You understand? And that's why I'm saying, is there a difference between the ANC and the state? Because everything where it's a normal thing where this needs to happen, if it was any other citizen, they would go to court, there'd be a judgment, and whatever happens. But because it's Ace, because it's the ANC, the law itself sort of bends to their will.
The law's not bending because the thing is like you know it's
Or
hard. You know
even if
what's
it's not
difficult
bending,
about this? It's like you're gonna have to, because now you're gonna be in danger of like making claims or statements of like things that you cannot prove, and that's the problem that the state is facing, is that like you have like people who are like politically compromised. So if you're someone like Ace and you're in the ANC, like you obviously wield a lot of power as Secretary General, but like if something like that is very obvious, it's like you can't hide from it anymore. Then it's like, okay, fine, we'll take it to court, right? And before it went to court, they were like, well, we need to sit in with the NEC for a disciplinary hearing, and that's when he said, it's like, I will not recuse myself until I'm proven guilty, or unless the NEC tells me to step aside. They had to sit down with the NEC, he didn't step aside, right? So after
they didn't
that,
tell him to step aside. They didn't tell
they
him
didn't
to
tell him
step
to
aside.
step aside, still in power, right?
Yeah.
And he's still in that position. And unless, I'm not sure, but we'll check it right now. But the other thing is like, because of that, how can you be able to say that like it's the same, they're indistinguishable when the law is actually being like impeded from running its course due to political interventions?
Exactly.
No,
There's safeguards against that as well. There's safeguards. There are things that are put in place to say, okay, if we're not, how can I put this? If a particular person needs to be in court on a particular day and they don't go to court, there's consequences to that. You understand? If this is supposed to happen and it doesn't happen, there's consequences to that. You understand? But then if those consequences aren't being enforced, is the law not bending to their desires? Is it not doing what they wanted to do? Because they're just sort of doing whatever they want and no one's actually saying stop it, or they're not even afraid of the consequences that could come of that. You understand? Zuma, he doesn't want to come through. Zuma doesn't come through. If you were a normal citizen and that would have, and you did that, would the same results? Would you still be home chilling right now? Probably not. Probably not.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Okay,
You understand? So it may the laws may not change, but they become very they become very blunt when it comes.
They're not enforced.
Yeah. You can't enforce them when it comes to a select group of people. You understand? Same thing again with Trump. He caused the insurrection. He said, "Come through on this date. It's going to be wild." That was.
But they have
tweet.
a good political tension in America.
But still, dude, what's his name? Mitch McConnell. He's like, yeah, Trump caused this, but he's not president at the moment, so we can't. We, as I think it's the Senate, we can't hold him accountable because he's not president right now. What is that? Because he has the support. Because the people will do whatever the fuck he wants him.
But I mean, even for we shouldn't. I don't think I'm personally surprised that they're saying something like that. We're like, oh, okay, it's Trump. We can't do anything. So of course, Republicans are going to cover for the Republicans. That's how political organizations work.
ANC and ANC.
There's no political, but it's not the first time. That's the thing. It's not the first time. There's no political will in any organization or in any political organization to try and prosecute a member of your organization, because it's funny how Zuma is behaving, because it's almost it's scary for what was very weird for me to see was like the EFF even say we're gonna go have tea with this dude. That's when you know it's like, okay, this is a bit suspect. You guys were fighting tooth and nail to get this nigga out of presidency. You got him out. This guy's supposed to come to the Central Commission to to plead his case and speak, which is not even plead his case, but just give testimony. He doesn't want to do that. And you guys were like, no, dude, you have to go. Because that's what it looks like. It's like we're putting politics aside. If they are putting politics aside, I don't know what this is about. But it was very strange for me to see the EFF, who had fought so hard to go and sit down and talk down to sit down with Zoom. It's very strange, man.
It's a very, very strange thing. It's terrible.
But I think I would like to think that they will respect it, because if they don't respect it, then it's like
hope. It's the hope that kills us.
You have to be hopeful when it comes to democracy, because it's all we have.
You have to be hopeful when it comes to your country, man. This is where you are. This is the only place where no one's going to kick you out of. You've got citizenship here. You're good. Yeah. So you need to be hopeful that things are actually going to work out here. But I don't know, man. I don't have that much faith in them. I don't trust them to that point where I'm like, nah, if they lose an election, they'll be fine. Bruh, they're going to, the moment they realize that no, this could go bad, they will be the very first people to start,
It hasn't stepped aside still.
Exactly. So, Ace now.
Yeah.
They'll be the very first people to be like, no, we need to recount
Votes.
these votes, and votes are gonna pop up from somewhere.
No, but then they'd need to have like grounds for that, because that's what the IEC is there for. They'd have to be able to say like, well, we believe that X and X and reason, and then we have to hear it in court. And this is the most important part of it. It's like we have an independent judicial, so
I
because
feel
of that,
I feel and believe that they have the power to sort of influence all of these things. Maybe I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you're going down a conspiracy theory.
I know how I sound right now. You know, I sound like that guy, but I don't know, man. I feel like they can, and far too many people benefit from the ANC being in power, for them to just sit back and see their money, see their tenders, see their everything, sort of just go away indefinitely. There's far too much money in it, man. They're too comfortable. They're in that. You know, it's like taking a king's power away from him. He will fight tooth and nail. You know, they will fight. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it ever happens. If they ever don't have enough votes, because there's a bunch of young people right now who are coming of age, who are supposed to be voting in the next election. If they feel like the ANC is not the party for them. But I think Ramaphosa is going to pull it through for them.
I don't have faith in that guy.
I may not have faith in him either. I don't really trust him like that.
Spineless.
Yeah. I thought he'd do a lot more. Like I found him very appealing as an individual, as a president who could sort of push us forward as a country, you know. But I feel like what he's been able to do with Corona will actually help him out.
You think so? No, I feel like he's been very terrible in handling Corona. Here's my reasoning, because they haven't been transparent on a lot of things about the science that they're following. First of all, let's begin with like the regulations that they impose. You know, I don't understand the cigarette ban. The cigarette ban, they lost a lot of tax. A lot of it went into illegal trade. They'll never see a lot of that money again, right?
It's gone.
And we still don't know what science they were following, because they went to court over that and they lost. We don't know. I'm still waiting to see the science. They
were following the science of Dlamini when people saw them.
You know what I'm saying? That song was a banger.
That was a banger. Unexpected.
Yeah, but you know, dude, this is one of the main things. This is one of the main things where they're like, you can't serve hot food.
Why?
Second of all, you can't go to the beach. Why again? What's the science behind that? That like, well, when you're at the beach, assuming this is their science,
mm-hmm.
You go to the beach and you're gonna spread it to other people, and it's not. It's a well-ventilated area. It's a well-ventilated area, so it's not like you can say it's not well-ventilated, but like, you know, people can now go to restaurants and things like that.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't budge on things like that. But like, it's weird. You can go to church, but you can't protest.
Is it not the same thing?
No, it's not according to that.
Not according to that.
You can't protest right now. There can't be a gathering of more than 50 people outside. If I'm correct,
mm-hmm.
I need to check it again. But like, I think you can't go protest, because I checked. I read that. I was like, what? You can't protest. Let me see this.
That's getting a bit, you know.
It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. It's a bit strange. And I mean, like, again, where is the science to all of this? Like, because this is my biggest problem, is that like, we're following the science, and in top advisors and experts in their fields, in their respective fields, in the sciences, show us the scientific report, show us the advisory
report. You remember mathematics, show us your work.
Yeah, exactly. Proof of it.
Yeah. How did you get here?
Exactly, how did you get here? And like, you know, it would be a different story if they were like, you go on the government websites, here are the reports.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been looking for these things, there are no reports. There's nothing about that, they just give you regulation. So, you're getting regulated, that's like, follow the law, go to prison. And I mean, they're willing to send people to prison for like, what, 6 months? For not wearing a mask?
For all of that.
No, like, as soon as they did that, they were like, politicians on TV not wearing masks. What happened to them? They just issued an apology and they kept it moving. And it was like, yeah. So,
but if they catch you, these police people catch you on the, you throw you in the back of the van, bro.
My brother at work one day, like, he was like, I think it was at Midland, like, I think he was walking out of Checkers or shop, but I think he wasn't wearing his mask. Probably his mask was like right here, just under his nose. Bro, grabbed him like, alright, I'm like, dude, like, that's how serious they were when it came to the citizens. But like, you know, somebody on national TV, bro.
Not wearing a mask.
Not wearing a mask.
Those constables or whatever, those police officers who were smoking.
Yeah, those guys. No, but I mean, they could have easily spinned that because it was like, I bought like a whole bunch. I keep cigarettes on me the whole time. Whatever.
Didn't they try to say it's like the sweets? Didn't someone try to come? You know those sweets, those minty sweets.
Let's see what that. Like this, I forgot about this. It's so crazy how
it was mad. That one was bad. Like what? How could you? Okay, all right, guys. Thanks.
That was very. It was so weird.
But you know, when it comes to Corona, the reason why I think I'm saying I think it will actually help him out is that when you look back at it, they're just gonna look at how bad it was in other places and how bad it wasn't here. They're gonna look at the bodies. Okay, it didn't hit us as badly, and I think that his decision to sort of like have a hard lockdown when it all started.
I still don't believe that like it was that bad. Because
I mean the US, the 500,000 people dying. I know I referenced the US.
Because I bludgeoned this explanation last time when I was trying to explain PCR testing, like the swab test.
Yeah.
The way they do that. Like even I'll show you the link on the WHO. The WHO had to say about it. These guys. The WHO admitted that like, listen guys, like the test you guys are administering, the threshold for detecting the virus is too high. Like it's you're doing it essentially. You're doing the test wrong, and it could be giving you false positives. And again, I checked on the NICD, the National Institute for Communicable Diseases in South Africa. They've got nothing about this.
Yeah.
So you'd have to like email like laboratories to ask them to find out like what's the threshold for this. Because the other thing is like if they're false positives, then it's like who knows. Because the other thing about like I feel like this is a problem in terms of like statistics that they're giving out every day. We don't know enough about the demographics about like the people that they're testing, people who are being admitted into hospitals and people who are passing away. You know, I feel like if we knew what the demographics were, I feel like
it would make us feel a lot better.
It would make us feel a lot better. We feel like we could take this on much more easier because it didn't make the people who are really at risk here are like the elderly over 65 years old.
True,
right?
true.
It does honestly makes no sense for me to shut down the entire economy.
Yeah,
I don't want to be an asshole and say I don't care about old people. Of course I care about old people. But you can't shut down the whole country and say nobody can go outside because you don't want to kill old people.
Yeah.
You know,
I hear you.
It's crazy for me. Like, and I mean, like, if you guys want to give him props for that, it's fine. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be very hard to get away from that idea when you look back at it. That's the thing. To be like, okay, South Africa managed. No, not even the overreaction. Like you could. There's a very good case that you could make in terms of us overreacting. You know, but I think that when you look at the numbers, they don't look that bad for South Africa. They really don't, and I think that's what's going to get them across the line. You know, that and the fact that the ANC just doesn't lose.
Yeah, ANC doesn't lose.
The ANC just doesn't lose.
Yeah.
You know,
see,
but hey, we'll see.
There's a lot of like articles about this. Here's one headline: coronavirus cases plummets when PCR tests are adjusted.
Yeah.
PCR test threshold for COVID-19 positivity is too sensitive.
Yeah.
Any test with a cycle threshold above 35 is too sensitive, says Juliet Morrison, PhD, a virologist at the University of California, Riverside. I'm shocked that people would think that 40 cycles could represent a positive. A more reasonable cutoff would be 30 to 35. We don't like, and you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lack of transparency, especially in South Africa, about like what is the science that we're following.
But then, don't you think the cautiousness of it is justified in, especially considering how little we know about the virus as well? Isn't it better to be like, listen, let's just get everyone who has any traces of the virus, quarantine them for a certain period of time. We don't know whether how much of it you need to be infective or to be infectious. We don't know how much of it you need in order for it to actually have a severe effect on your body.
Yeah.
So
I understand. Like, I mean, I could definitely.
It's a cautious route.
I understand because initially when it started, nobody knew much about it, right? So it made sense when there was a hard lockdowns for the first 3 to 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, by then the science was like actually improving. People were beginning to understand it
Improved
better.
very quickly, the science, yeah.
Right? They started to understand it better, make sense of it. So, okay, no, this virus doesn't treat it. Doesn't affect some people. Has very adverse reactions to some people. And can't even handle it or deal with it. But my problem was that like they weren't even telling people like, okay, you should definitely exercise, take these supplements, take vitamin D, take zinc, take this, take that. This will help you in fighting this disease. There was no mention of those things.
The thing about it that in a country like SA, where you have unemployment being where it is, and the state being as managing its resources as poorly as it does. Yeah. It's very with the moment you say you need to take vitamin C and so on and so forth, the majority of the people are going to be like, give it to us. You understand? And so it's a little harder for them to be like, you need to do this. It's like, oh, if we need to do it, then give it to me then. You understand?
No, but I mean, it's I don't have a problem with that, and I understand why you would say that, like why people would want to say that. But I mean, like you can't just not give out information because you feel like you will create an over demand of it. Then you're withholding information, and you're actually preventing people from being able to help themselves.
To actually take care of themselves. But then if you look at the what is this the precautions and everything, the way a mask one is always very simple. They always push that stay indoors, social distance. That's all they say.
Do you think you've had it?
I think I might have had it at some point. Late last year, around November. I think I noticed when because I've had asthma since I was like 15, right? Yeah. But it just all of a sudden it just got worse. Yeah. And like for most of the year I didn't even use my for a very long time I haven't had to use it. Like I had to legit go look for that. Where is that thing? Yeah. Found it had expired, I had to go buy a new one. You understand? And so what happened? Like I just had a fever and my whole body started aching.
Oh, okay. That sounds kind of
the
like
shivers,
like flu, yeah.
Yeah, but then like painful, and it only lasted for a very short. And it was in November, so that's what I'm trying to.
It's weird,
in November, and the only other person who had sort of similar symptoms was my brother as well, almost exact same symptoms like body aching, like exhaustion, the coughing. Like I remember there was the only reason why I think it was the Rona is because I remember this one night or a couple of nights where I legit needed to get out of bed because like the breathing was so hectic.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? Like just the breathing, I had to like legit just sit up and be like, okay, we're breathing now.
Oh, okay,
you know?
Okay.
So it was.
Is that what like asthma's like?
Asthma's like that, but then mine has never been that bad, right? But then at that point it was like with whatever I had at that point, it got that bad for that night, you know? Yeah. Like to the point where you can hear yourself breathing. Because,
here's what a lot of people thought was ridiculous about COVID-19. Like, they were trying to, like, ridicule, like, some of the medical professionals or, like, scientists claiming that you'll love when you hear this, but, like, it exacerbates some conditions you have.
Yeah.
So I think it was in the UK where there was a man who was working on a roof or something, and he had a heart attack. And cause of death was classified as COVID-19.
Oh,
there was a meme.
Yeah,
there was literally a meme.
Yeah,
like, they had the whole like COVID virus like thing, and then in her hands and like an evil face, and just pushed that guy off the ladder. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, man. When I saw it, that's immediately what I thought of. I was like, no, you guys cannot be serious. And then they explained. I was like, okay, maybe,
but
maybe.
No.
It's still a bit hard to swallow, because we don't understand much about this disease. But I was just like getting annoyed with like listening to the radio and people talking about, yo, I have long COVID.
Long.
Yeah, long COVID. They were like, no, I don't have as much energy as I used to. I find it hard to breathe. Well, that's because you've been fucking sitting down in your house for like 4 months and not doing jack shit. You don't even fucking
You don't
exercise.
have long
I've got
COVID.
long COVID. My kids are so unmotivated because they're not going to school. They're not having the normal social interactions that they're supposed to be having on a normal day-to-day basis. You want to call it long COVID?
People will blame everything,
Oh
eh?
my god, people.
They'll blame
That's why I feel like we overreacted to this. Because like now people start coming with the most ridiculous and weirdest shit you've ever heard. Long COVID. I have long COVID. And I'm like, yeah, that's those are just side effects. If you can't breathe, normally that's what you have. We don't call it long flu. No, like, what?
Just chilling and seeing like I'm tired.
I just couldn't understand like what drives you to be this dramatic as a person.
Why that?
Yeah.
Why even call in? Just have your long COVID on your own.
Like don't call people and tell them on the radio. And even the news was crazy. Like the radio presenters like, yeah, guys, long COVID is a real thing. I was like, fuck off. I switched off the radio. I was like, fuck off. That's talking shit.
What station was this?
Power. I think it was Power FM, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might have been Power FM. Was it with Azania?
I don't.
I'm not sure. It might have been Power.
Okay.
But I was just like, I don't believe this shit right now. I was like, long COVID.
It got very ridiculous at some point.
It's still getting ridiculous. It's telling people to wear 2 masks now.
Oh, because the three, no, why 2 masks of like the actual like the
I'll show you.
what's this
I'll
thing?
show you. I'll show
like
you.
two cloth masks or 2 like proper.
They're like telling you to wear like if you wear like a surgical N95.
Yeah, N95 ones. Yeah.
Yeah. See, they'll wear like an N95 or like a surgical one, and then they'll wear like a cloth mask on top of that. And I'm like, it's fucking ridiculous.
To block coronavirus.
There was a study. Let me try to find it again. But they just showed you like masks don't work. They don't help in like keeping you from like catching the disease. They're more effective at keeping you from spreading it.
Keeping you from spreading it. True. Yeah, that one I saw. Like in terms of the cough tests, where when you're like coughing, like wearing a mask and not wearing a mask, there's the what do they call them, the droplets. The distance that they spread to is a lot shorter when you're wearing a mask than when you're not. Yeah, man. I feel like it's one of those. It's the internet. The moment something happens in the world and the internet gets a hold of it, and it just spreads, like everyone just decides to do whatever they want with it. Everyone just remixes the truth the way they want to, and then you get all of these ridiculous versions of it. People applying what's happening in the world to their own lives and just wanting it to be that thing so much. And ending up with long COVID. Like I need to say I have COVID for some reason, so I'm just gonna call it long COVID. We're just tired.
But I was even asking people just on Instagram. Like I mean, like it was like quite a few people. It's not a lot, like less than like 50. And I was asking them like, do you feel like you've probably had it like at some point in time? And I think only one person said like, no. I've never.
Everyone thinks they've had it.
Everyone thinks they've had it. And I'm like, because you think you've had it, do you think it's time to start a conversation about maybe like relaxing the regulations and things like that, so like life can like begin to go back to normal? And they're like, yeah, I think it's time to start a conversation. And like some people are like, no, we're not ready for that conversation. And it's like, wow. But like, I mean, for me, it's interesting because these are, I don't want like, you know, cast aspersions like what kind of personality anybody has, but I mean like you need to consider the fact that like some people actually depended on like on normality of everyday life to ensure that they can make a living, they can work and things like that. People have lost their work.
People have lost so much,
man. Some people might even be homeless right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like people's financial sort of situations and realities just jumped over.
I remember that loan scheme that was supposed to help businesses from shutting down. I think less than 20% people qualified for it.
It's quite qualified.
Like, yeah,
imagine the number of people who've actually applied for it.
Yeah, like no, like in terms of like it being granted.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, they had all sorts of things. They were trying to come up with ideas in terms of how to help, but then if you don't have the resources for it, then it's pointless. You know, if you mismanage your resources consistently, then even that 500 billion that they were talking about, it went nowhere. It went absolutely nowhere.
Because the biggest problem is like I think I was talking to this with Matthews on the other Matthews in the previous episode.
You legit have two Matthews.
Literally, it's crazy, dude. Like,
it's like which podcast? The one with Matthews.
Yeah. It's like,
which podcast?
Matthews is like, hello.
Hello.
Hello. So like, what did he say? Fuck, I forgot now. I was trying to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, government has no interest in like building like infrastructure for the long term.
Yeah.
So like my biggest problem is like you guys like they've been stressing like alcohol was being problematic in terms of like bodies in the hospital. Like, you know, there weren't enough beds, there wasn't enough this or that for a lot of people. But like because of that they had to like, you know, stop alcohol sales.
Yeah.
Right. And I understood, but I'm like, guys, but you're not even thinking beyond this. Like, is this gonna if you're saying COVID's gonna be like a new normal, then you need to build more hospitals. You need to make like, you know, you need to build COVID treatment centers for people so that they don't have to go to the hospital. But you know, I don't even know what to say anymore, man. It's getting fucking crazy, man. They have no interest in like actually building this country. They just want money for the now. Okay, so the Banking Association of South Africa says that as of 16 January 2021, 17.84 billion rands in loans had been approved by banks and taken up by small businesses under the COVID-19 loan guarantee scheme, right? Initially, the National Treasury provided a guarantee of 100 billion rand to the scheme with the option to increase the guarantee to 200 billion rands if necessary. Holy crap, that's not so... Okay, that's still like... It's not like...
17 billion given out of 100 billion.
Yeah, it's less than 20%. Less than 20% of 100 billion rands has been given out. However, almost 1 year on, demand for the scheme remains significantly below the original expectations.
Demand for it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because people want to take on... Why would you want to take on debt now?
Yeah, this isn't time for it.
And it's not like, you know, even if you take that loan, you'll be able to like ensure you do generate like income
Afterwards.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather be loan free and have, but then again, man, I think this is especially for people who have like businesses that, you know, have a bunch of employees, but also if you can guarantee your income even after COVID as well. You understand?
That's a big thing. Yeah.
Like if you sell salt, you're good. You know, if you sell cement, you're good.
Okay, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But then if it's all of these other weird things, then you're not really sure. Not that they're weird, but you're not really that certain of your income thereafter. Because so many things change now. So many things are going online. Like the dependence on technology is so massive. I mean, like weird things are happening now. Like what's this thing? The chip shortage. Like people literally can't. That's the reason why your PS5s and your Xboxes are so scarce.
Really?
Because there's a genuine chip shortage. Like what's this computer chip shortage
Holy crap,
in the world, right?
That's insane.
Because
COVID.
when everyone went into lockdown, everyone needed a laptop.
Yeah.
So all of these companies
Oh, they
legit,
went to that.
they went in that direction. And if you think about it, people still do need laptops. So there's such a massive demand for
Holy
like
crap.
tech at the moment and like computer chips and so on and so forth. That's the reason why you can't even get your hands on like a PS4.
I didn't even know that, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's hectic.
Yeah.
It's hectic. So things are changing so much that the world after Corona, after everything is done, I think I understand how people really want to go back to normal and really want things to go back to the way they were. But I feel like there's certain things that are just gonna be different.
Yeah, not gonna be the same anymore.
Yeah. There's certain things that are never gonna go back to normal. You know.
Like what? What do you think? What's the one thing you definitely think is gonna change forever after this?
I don't. Let's see. I think number one, we've definitely opened the door in terms of like schooling online.
Yeah.
First and foremost. Number two, people the food delivery system has just sort of
Taken
gone out
off.
the roof.
Yeah.
Or up, you know, everyone's ordering it. If you can, you're doing it. You understand? There's a much bigger sort of demand for it, especially in like townships and everywhere. Like you want, if you can get McDonald's while you're chilling at home, it makes a lot more sense
Yeah.
now to just go on
Enjoy
your phone
it,
and
yeah.
actually do it. So services like that have literally had a massive boom. Zoom is a thing now. You understand? Like people having meetings from wherever, people working from home. You understand? Like the big tech companies, especially, I know Twitter's been doing it. Google as well to a certain extent in certain areas. They're like, you don't have to come here
Yeah.
to the office. Like, just stay at home as long as your productivity is still proper, then you're fine.
That was a lot of that was a big thing for a lot of companies because
Yeah.
it illustrated that some companies don't trust their employees. They
True.
want them to come.
True.
in
They want
just
to lord over you.
Now you're like,
Be
yeah, you at work, keep
what you
working,
doing,
bitch. Yeah, and those around,
What you doing?
motherfucker. Type of thing. You know, they just want to make sure people come into office, they can look at them work record.
Yeah, and that's when you actually realize. I mean, for example, what that causes when people aren't coming into offices, then your office spaces don't get rented out as easily as well.
It's
So,
significant
exactly.
production costs. Oof. But somebody's getting a beating over that, man.
Someone's hurting. Someone's
hurting.
definitely hurting, man. You get onto the N1 and you're driving out. All of these office buildings that you see,
They're dead quiet.
dead quiet, man.
Oh,
Dead
gosh.
quiet, man.
I guess the only like companies that might survive here are like like ones that are rented to insurers, or they have like client
Sure.
services and things like that. But even then, some of them can work from home.
Yeah, they can definitely work from home. I mean, I called, when was it? About a month ago.
Yeah.
I was trying to sort out something with my Markham's account. All of them are working from home.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I call them and I'm like, okay, can you transfer me to whatever department? And they're like, no, I can't. I was actually speaking to someone initially,
Yeah.
and then I called again and I was speaking to someone completely different. I'm like, okay, can you connect me to that guy? I'm like, they're like, I don't know who you're talking about because I'm at home, and our system just shows names and I need a surname or whatever, something like that.
Okay, so they can. It's just
They have a proper system, but they
Oh.
just didn't know who I was talking about. But then they're at home, so it's not a matter of they can just stand up from their cubicle and be like, "Who was talking to Matthews?"
Oh, that's still great. Then.
Yeah.
I was worried like they wouldn't be able to like transfer you.
Yeah, they can, but then it's
Yeah, you just have
there
to.
were whatever
type of thing.
barriers
Ah.
that were in
Yeah,
that.
small kinks.
You
Work
understand,
out,
but then
yeah.
they work from home.
Sheesh, man, that's
They don't
pretty
have to
cool.
be in the office.
Mm.
You understand, but then if you're an employer, though, would you trust your employees to be working from home?
I mean, they probably still have the KPIs and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they can still more or less monitor traffic, like in terms of like, let's see how many calls you were receiving on average while you worked in the office versus now, versus when you were working from home. You know, like this kind of information.
So the data matters.
Yeah, the data. Data is very important right now more than ever, I imagine.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, it's definitely telling you a lot more about how your like employees are behaving. Because you necessarily won't even have to like be watching them over there at their show, but you could just be like observing how much time they spend when they logged in, how much activity is going on, how much productivity they're doing, giving them assignments and things like that.
I think it makes it easier though to sort of just cut the good from the bad. Like, does it make sense to sort of make a judgment off of just the numbers that you're getting back?
Oh, probably not. Because like, I mean, like, think about it this way. It's probably a new way, and it's very crude right now to think like to for them to try to figure out a lot right now through that system. So it's probably going to take like a couple of years for them to like refine it. They're probably going to make a lot of mistakes through it. Maybe, I hope not, but they might be making a few mistakes. Like, oh, this actually didn't mean that they weren't working.
This is the nature of change.
Maybe they just spent less time because they didn't have to, you know, like maybe they weren't in the office next to their friend. Maybe they're
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of variables and a lot of factors
Yeah.
that go into that. So.
There needs to be like a what's this thing? A period of time for them to like standardize everything, right?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows exactly? Who knows? Yeah, could be one of those things, man.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know how I'd work. How I'd do with that though.
Working from home?
I don't think I can do it.
Mm.
I don't think I can do it. I don't know. I enjoy the chaos.
Of the office? Jeez, man. Like, yeah, I get you. I like talking smack in the office.
Exactly. Like it works. Like. Plus, I'm very weird in that I need to interact with people, you know, to sort of stay sane.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm sort of locked in my room for a very long time, like my mood just sort of deteriorates.
Oh, that sucks.
You know, the longer it goes. But then if I'm out there, even if it's not people that I know, but then just being around people and actually having conversations.
Sure.
And you're in a better mood thereafter. But yeah, my just general mood just deteriorates the longer I'm on my own.
I think like the one thing that really sucks about living here, Mamelodi, like, is just like we don't have access to like broadband and like ADSL and things like that. That's, I mean, I feel like it would have been easier for us to like a lot of people to work and find work during this pandemic, because I think Amazon was hiring people,
Yeah.
but you needed to have like a certain like speed. Internet
True,
speed, like,
true. I think they wanted like 10 megs or something.
Yeah, you need 10 megabits per second.
Not even
downloading.
LTE, like.
And LTE, it has that potential, but like our network infrastructure sucks.
Terrible.
Like if you're on like rain is fucking horrible right now.
I enjoy rain so much. I keep hearing people saying that rain is terrible.
Because I think they're throttling our speeds from like here, because like in the mornings.
The speeds aren't great.
Yeah, exactly. It's affordable, but it's like it's terrible. I think it's terrible, horrible service. I really want to move away from here, so like at least we can like get access to like fiber. Because with fiber, maybe we might get capped at like 15 megabits per second. We might have to pay a little bit extra of like maybe 200 or 300 rands, but it'll be worth it, because then you unlock a whole different world where you can like literally watch things at HD. You don't have to wait for it to buffer. You don't have to reduce the quality or like the aspect ratio and things like that.
I don't know. I've actually had a very good experience with rain. In terms of like, because now, dude, as long as I can get on my Netflix when I need to, as long as I can just Google stuff when I need to,
yeah,
then I'm good. You know, I don't think I use it for anything more than that. I'm not. Yeah, but then. I feel like it's sort of a saving grace for a lot of people, because what, $250 or $300?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right.
And if you've got unlimited connection, you don't have to worry about data and all of that.
That's true.
It may be shit sometimes, but I enjoy it. I definitely enjoy it.
It's definitely a start. It's
Yeah.
definitely a good start. Yeah.
You know,
I'll give that much. Yeah.
They've definitely got a proper market there, of people who can afford that much, and. I mean, the difference of having and not having internet is, it's massive. For example, each and every interview I've ever gone to, has been from an application that I've done online.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So imagine when you don't have internet, how are you getting a job there?
Buddy, that sucks.
You know.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have to be counting megabytes. You can't even just keep clicking on that.
Yeah.
You have to be like, I'm gonna apply for 10 today, max.
Just like,
I still need to get WhatsApps in the evening.
You gotta chat to your homies.
You gotta chat to your girl. You
tell her how it went.
You understand? If data finishes while you're having that conversation, why did you blue tick me? It's a fight.
Now you explain yourself.
Now you have to explain yourself.
Like that, baby.
No, man.
It's my fault. I'm sorry. Should have run out of data. I was trying to get a job so I can buy more data.
So I didn't talk to you even more.
I didn't talk to you more. Exactly.
Yeah.
You'd be upset.
Hectic,
It's crazy how everything, like just one small thing can affect like the whole trajectory of your life. You know.
Man.
Shit, man, my bundles are running out, but yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. So it's fun. It's fun. Good times.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's see what the score is right now. What is playing today? Chelsea's playing today, right?
Chelsea's playing with United today. It's a good day. Can get some.
Really? What time? Do you know what the time match is?
I think it's around 6 if I'm not wrong.
So
6 or 8.
6 right now. Let's see. Fulham held the Millwall draw. Certainly. Let's see. Who do you think's gonna win, Chelsea or Manchester United?
I'm hoping for Man United, but it's the hope that kills us. You shouldn't be hoping for nothing, but then that's the nature of it all, you know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. The thing about Chelsea is like right now, it's like
you're a Chelsea fan, right?
Yeah, we're not defensive, but like we're just missing something. There's something missing in that team.
You've got the players, man. I don't get Chelsea. I don't get you guys. Like I feel like there's so much potential.
It's
in that
striking
team.
the balance, because I think we're more or less good. You know, we've got a good balance of youth and experience, but it's just I think we struggle with strikers.
You guys have the best squad in the world right now.
No, don't say that.
Bar your defense. bar your defense and maybe your goalkeepers, and okay, it's the defenses win titles, but you've got.
Do you think so?
Yeah, man.
City have scored their way to the Premier League title. Remember under this guy was Pellegrini.
True.
In the season's already said like
and Chelsea's done that a few times as well.
Yeah,
Chelsea's under Ancelotti and under what's his name?
Mourinho.
And, no, Mourinho score your way to a title.
Yeah,
Mourinho.
like with Drogba and those guys.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, that's when he still used to be like you need to have like a roaring defense and a roaring attack.
Okay.
You know,
He actually believed in attacking back then.
6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
But you've done that under Ancelotti. You've done that under Conte as well.
Yeah.
You've scored your way to a
Conte
title.
was a defensive master, man. He
True.
just loved.
True.
Alright.
True. But then, I don't know, man. I feel like defenses win you titles because the thing about it is that you need to keep out the goals. Even if you need to be able to grind out those difficult matches.
True.
You understand? And if you come into a game like United this season, like you come into a game and you're already 2-0 down in 30 minutes. And now
That's what you get for paying £80 million for a defender. How did they convince you guys to pay $80 million for Mogoane?
I don't know.
Leicester should be investigated.
It's these English players.
It's evil. This is
It's these
ridiculous.
English
I mean, we paid
players,
£35 million for Danny Drinkwater, and it was like Chelsea was like, what? Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just.
And then Conte cost the same amount.
Kante.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. 35. I think 35. One worked out, one didn't. Because to us it looked like that was a midfield duo you definitely would like to play with.
But even Kante, like, I feel like he was at his best under Conte.
Yeah.
And that was
He
it.
works very well in the double midfield pivot.
Yeah, in a pivot.
When he's playing with somebody.
I feel like him and Kovacic could do really well, but then Kovacic isn't as attacking as he needs to be.
It's just something of his game. Like I think he's too old to ever add. Because to me, like I know, like I'm probably gonna get a lot of shit for saying this, but like I look at him and he kind of reminds me of Iniesta. You know, the way you could just like keep a ball on him and dribble through some place. Like he doesn't have the pass.
He doesn't
have the
pass.
play, and he's more brutal than Iniesta. Iniesta is far more like he's got that thing like
He just slithers through.
Yeah, he slithers like like Kovacic will like he'll dribble a person, but like they'll still try to get the ball. His foot will try.
Like it won't be as clean.
Yeah, it won't be as clean. That's the word. Yeah, that's the word. But like it's not as elegant as him.
Yeah.
But like he if only I think if he was raised under a different footballing system. But like, he definitely has like the potential. But like it's like his passing has improved somewhat significantly under Tuchel. Because like he's pinging those cross balls, whereas like he's deep from midfield and he's hitting it to the right wing or to the left wing. And like,
but then you guys have Jorginho who has the pass. But he
doesn't release.
But his work rate.
Slow.
I feel like his work rate and his defense.
His work. I mean, it's difficult to ever like I can't criticize his work rate because you can see he's trying to run and defend, but like it just doesn't look like it. You're like, come on.
He's trying, but I don't see
it.
Exactly.
It's like you just gotta be like you can't expect too much of him defensively. But like
because he's not that player.
He's not. He's very luxury. Like we're rotating. If we're playing in a team like City does, where like we're gonna have the ball for like 8/10 of the game.
And City wanted it.
You want to play like that because it's gonna help you keep the ball. It's gonna recycle the ball. It's gonna play it. Somebody like almost like. I don't even want to say Thiago because Thiago, I felt like he was like at his best in Bayern. I haven't seen anything like that since he's been in Bayern.
Yeah, but then it's one of those. I don't think you're gonna see the best out of him at Liverpool because Liverpool on its own.
He's having a shit season.
Yeah, having a very shit season. Like the drop off is massive. Like they could miss Europe.
But it's their fault.
For not having proper backup.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
but then if you're a defender, right, who's Premier League quality. And you know that they have Matip, they have Gomez, they have Van Dijk, right? Are you gonna go to Liverpool if you want game time? Fuck no, I wouldn't even touch that.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'd rather go to a United and be part of a shit team.
But I mean, that's why you need to have scouts.
I love my.
That's why you need to have scouts, man. That's why you need to have scouts. Like you don't always have to sign the starting defender. You need to like sign someone who's
Find
good
someone
enough
who's
to
willing
fill in.
who wants to
He
play
will-
for a
yeah,
team that big.
He doesn't
and
need
is willing to work his way.
exactly. He doesn't need to play every game, but he just needs to play enough just to like keep him motivated to keep playing. So I'm saying, you know what? I feel like I could probably like give Van Dijk a good run for his money, type of thing. And I mean,
confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, as a coach, you can't be like, well, the starting 11 is good, and this is what we're gonna like run for in the next 3 seasons. We're gonna win the Premier League, the Champions League with this alone. And you get injuries. I mean, it was bound to happen. You were bound to have like a lot of injuries. They're definitely having an abnormal season in terms of like the congestion of fixtures.
The congestion of fixtures.
And you're gonna be playing against like, teams who are fresh and are probably gonna be more aggressive than you are in their approach play. Somebody's bound to get hurt.
It's the worst time to lose a player like Van Dijk right now.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst time. Like if they lost him, I think towards the end of last season, it would have been much better because they already had that momentum. Like, but when they lost him as well, like just at the beginning of the season, they got whipped by Aston Villa 8-something, and Van Dijk was in the team at that time, and then you lose Van Dijk thereafter.
Oh, Grealish did madness! You ripped into shit. I think he
nutmegged him.
Clean. I was like,
I feel like that's the confidence Grealish has been on for the rest of the season.
Yeah, but he hasn't produced as much on fantasy.
Yeah, on fantasy,
he's been such a letdown. But
I feel like if you had him when the season started, you benefited from it, but then thereafter.
But Ollie Watkins stepped up, Aaron Cresswell Cresswell is West Ham.
Ollie
Watkins
was like a flash in the pan, I feel.
But he's back. Scoring.
Bamford is my guy.
Bamford is good.
Bamford is my guy.
Stephen Dallas as well.
Man.
But I mean, Leeds is playing some phenomenal football. I mean, like they don't always get the greatest results. But I mean, if you watch their last game, did you see what the lineup was? He played like 3 defenders, 3 defensive midfielders, 3 attacking midfielders, and a striker. So it was just like a stacked midfield.
Oh, shit.
If you were like, I think they're playing. I can't remember. Were they playing West Ham or something? I can't remember what they're playing. And it was like the fucking midfield is flooded. It's hard to play past these guys. It's fucking ridiculous.
And the thing about it is that it's either they're going to win spectacularly or they're gonna lose like.
They never grind out a result.
Oh no,
they just have too much energy. They're either doing the right thing or the wrong thing.
Exactly. It's either they've got it for this game. Like for this game, they're gonna just do it. But then otherwise, it means you're just gonna run through their defense like nothing.
Yeah.
The whole game.
Yeah.
So hey man,
it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit, bro. I think that's a good note to end.
Hey, it's been good, man. It's been
we
proper.
did like what, 2 hours now?
We did a whole 2 hours. I didn't even notice that it was.
You just walked by.
I saw it when it was like at 30 minutes, and when I looked again, it was like an hour 30 minutes. I'm like, how? But it's
all those conspiracy theories, bro.
It's all those conspiracy theories that I started chugging in there. But I'm telling you, they'll never leave.
I hope they do leave. Like, I mean, like it'll be very scary.
Yeah, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see it at some point. At some point, because they can't do this forever.
No, they can't.
They can't get away with it the way they are right now forever.
But the thing is, like, I think, I mean, it's hard for people to feel like they need to organize as a people in South Africa, like, and say we're going to band against this, because there's so much that has already happened that we've just like let slide.
I don't think
we need to get. We're not angry enough about a lot.
No, I don't think we're at a place where we, as black people, we feel comfortable sort of organizing against other black people to that point.
Could be that, yeah.
You understand? Like, it's still fresh. It's too soon.
Okay.
You understand? I think there's an element of that. There's the element of hope in that, man, it's still the ANC. You understand? Yeah. I mean, we're still so close to the generation and the group of and the leadership that Ramaphosa was part of the drafting of the constitution. It's still that early. It's still that we're still working our way through that generation. I think when the Fikile Mbalula comes through and he's president, then they can.
Oh hell no.
Then they can fuck off. You understand?
No.
That
I'll leave South Africa if they.
That sentimentality.
I'm going to Australia.
It's coming. I'm telling you.
I'm going to Australia.
That sentimentality is gone. You don't feel it that much. Ramaphosa is like, this dude wrote the constitution.
Because it doesn't resonate with us, though, man. Like
exactly.
It doesn't resonate with us.
Not as much as it did with our parents and their parents. You understand? With us, it's like we can see through the bullshit.
Sure.
We can see it clearly. And I feel like the reporters and the reporting right now.
Alright.
That's
I
not
think
the
that's
reason.
it. I think that's it. I think that's it. Alright, Betty, thank you so
man.
much for coming on the
It's been a
podcast,
pleasure.
man.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Alright.
Whenever, man. Whenever. If
Alright.
I've got time, if you call, I'll be there. It's been good.
Alright. Appreciate it, bro.
Sharp.
Alright, everybody, don't forget to subscribe and like. Have a good time. Share your thoughts, share your feelings. Love to hear more from you. Until then, take care. Goodbye.